Big story in baseball today. Kerry Wood blows another save for the Indians. The Cubs win 2-1. Well, they outscore the Indians 2-1 in the 13th inning and win 6-5. So this interleague thing is really heating up. Here's Marco Scutaro. Nats held him to a 1-for-6 last night. Detwiler misses with the first pitch. Underway at 7:08. It's quite breezy tonight. 20-mile-an-hour wind, 85 at game time. Interesting that the weather's so warm, but the wind's coming out of the north. 2-0. Scutaro walks a lot. #1 in the American League with 47, along with Carlos Pena. That's why he has a 400 on base average. That's in there. James Hoy calling it a strike. C.B. Buckner, Mike Everett, crew chief Brian Gorman on the bases tonight. Scutaro at 299. He has a 3-game hitting streak, 6 for his last 13. Detwiler throws one. He jacks it to right center. In the sun, Elijah Dukes, 1 out.
Well, and for a little bit too, Bob, it's going to be tricky out there in the outfield, especially center and right field. A lot of shadows right here later in the afternoon. The sun is shining on the back of the field, and so you saw Elijah Dukes go from the shade into the sun and make a good play.
Well, somewhere George Harrison is smiling down today because here comes the sun finally.
Very nice Beatles reference.
Yes. Well, one of the best acoustic songs of all time. And here's the second baseman, Aaron Hill.
My favorite Beatles song, that While My Guitar Gently Weeps.
George did that one too.
Love
nice.
That song.
Right off the end of the bat. Of course, as a high school boy, your favorite song was Hey Jude. It was a slow dance that lasted 7 minutes. Can you play that again?
That's awesome that you know that was a slow song. They played for 7 minutes.
1 ball and 1 strike to Hill. And that's just a little bit off the plate. 2-1. Detwiler in 33 innings. 20 runs, 19 earned, 36 hits. And Aaron Hill's right up there. 91 hits. Leads all of baseball. 1 more than Miguel Tejada here in this league. Detwiler, lots of fastballs to start things off, and he goes 3-1.
Now, they're not the most powerful team, but they do lead the American League in hits with 681 as a team. Talked about this last night. A lot of their guys have over 80 hits.
1 out walk. Jordan Zimmerman was amazing last night. Only 3 batters did not get first pitch strikes. Second highest in baseball this year. And it still took him 106 pitches to get through just less than 6 innings. Here's Vernon Wells batting .249. But this guy's definitely on the way back. He has 8 hits over his last 4 games, including 2 for 5 last night.
Julian Tavares at the end of the game did a great job against Vernon Wells, who had owned him up to that point. A lot of it came with a fastball up and in to get him off the plate.
Yeah, there were 2 ball clubs about to run out of pitchers last night. And the Blue Jays may not have too many guys available in their pen tonight. We'll have to see how that goes later. 1 ball, 1 strike to Wells. Nats looking for a grounder. It'll be popped off to the right side. 1-2. Short lead at first by Hill. And that ball tipped off the equipment of Will Nieves.
Well, and remember, Ross needs to constantly make a conscious effort to remind himself to finish the pitch first and then fall off towards first base, because he steps across his body, that front leg way over towards first base when he's throwing the ball to home plate.
Late on that one. It was a pitch away. And Detwiler blows away Vernon Wells, his 24th strikeout in 33 innings.
Here you see the delivery on the 1-2 pitch. High fastball, out and away. Can't catch up to the high heat.
Scott Rowland will be next. Rowland 2 hits. Well, 1 hit last night. Hit the ball hard twice. Reached on an error. And he has a 9-game hitting streak.
James Hoy has a nice high strike zone tonight. That could help Detwiler.
What's better for a pitcher, high or low?
Well, it depends on what he's throwing. He's been throwing a lot of high fastballs.
Right field, Elijah Dukes will move back, move over. He's there. And Detwiler puts a 0 on the board for the Nats in the top of the first. Guzman, Johnson, and Zimmerman coming up. Tenth in runs, 8th in home runs, and Nick Johnson all over the bases. 19 multi-hit games, 333 in his last 8. He was on base, count them, 6 times last night. 2 singles, a double, 3 walks, and Nick Johnson's on-base average is now 424. Brett CECIL and Maryland Terrapin toiling here for the Blue Jays tonight. Attended up there in College Park, majoring in criminal justice. He's 22 years of age, a native of Dunkirk. That's a low strike to Guzman. CRISTIAN Guzman had his 93rd career multi-hit game last night, his 3rd in a row, and he has 24 this year. 5th in the league at 329. And for the right side, 306. We'll get Rob's scouting report on Brett CECIL in a moment. He's a guy who has an unusual delivery that the Blue Jays have been trying to do something about. At times, he's let other teams know what's coming. Little tapper. If it's by the mound, there's a chance. There's a chance. Guzman with a base hit. Well played by Scott Rowland, but so much he could do. And the Nationals off to a start here in the first inning.
Well, this is sometimes you call this a thing of beauty. It's a swinging bunt. The third baseman has to wait when the guy takes a full swing like that, and that millisecond that Rowland has to wait to come in, and he's one of the best at picking it up barehanded. See how he stays low, throws across his body, throws a perfect strike to Bilar, but you can't beat that speed of Guzman.
Nick Johnson's been on base 10 consecutive games and 18 of his last 20. First pitch off the stretch, way upstairs. And the next one right in there, 1 ball, 1 strike. Cecil is a rookie. It's only his 3rd year of professional ball. Blue Jays took him as a supplemental pick right after the first round in June of '07. Only 9-5 in 41 minor league starts coming into this year, and he's been up and down between the big club and AAA. Nick very late for that one. All right, Rob, what's up with the arm?
Well, this is part of my breakdown. He's got a Rick Sutcliffe wrap behind the back. See how he wraps the ball right there? And as you said, when he throws his knuckle curveball and he bends the knuckle up on the baseball, he was tipping the pitch to the hitters. So they have tried to break him of that wrapping habit, but he still does it a la Rick Sutcliffe. Not many guys do that, where they physically wrap the ball and then come back up and they have to twist their arm in the delivery to bring it to the right side. And you see that, that's like a forkball grip. A lot of guys will do that, so it doesn't look like they're digging into the glove to get that grip.
Nick takes it up and in. 2 balls, 2 strikes. Cecil 6'1", 235. Up and in. Nick Johnson is now in the top 7 in the league in walks with 42. He's only struck out 3 more times than that. Zimmerman is next. The Nats may be building a first-inning rally here. We'll see if Manny does something with the runner Guzman on a 3-2 to Nick. He's holding, and it's ball 4, 2 on, nobody out.
PNC Bank scouting report on Mr. Cecil. He's a big-time rapper. Wraps that arm around his back, and he shows the ball to the hitters. Big T, back in 2006, he more than doubled the career save record up at the University of Maryland. And Copycat, he said he formulated his delivery off of that of one Andy Pettitte of the New York Yankees. So he copied most of it, except that wrapping, because Andy Pettitte doesn't really wrap that much behind his back, but very similar, if you might notice.
Big spot early for Ryan Zimmerman, 5th in the league with 81 hits. Long ball game last night. Zimmerman 0 for 5 with a walk. But his walk in the 11th inning did set up Adam Dunn's walk-off hit. Good speed out there. Guzman at second. Nick Johnson behind him. They play Zimmerman absolutely straight away in the outfield. That's outside, 1-1. By the way, the interleague ledger: American League 75, National League 66, including the 2 games from today.
Oh, it's getting a little tighter.
Yeah, it's getting up there a little bit. Another week to do something about it. And the Nats have been doing their part the last few days for the senior circuit. The National League is a little older than the American League.
Let's check out that last pitch. Maybe Zim's trying to look too much. Look at how far out that arm comes. Shows the pitch to the hitter. There you see it from the side angle.
Yeah, hitters like to focus on the release point, and that's a long way to go with the eyes in a split second. 1-2 delivery.
Well, and the thing we always talk about, Bob, especially with lefties and some of the bullpen guys, is deception. You want to try to, hide that ball as long as possible before you show it to the hitter and give him a look at possibly your grip. And if you have a big knuckle hanging off the side of the ball, I mean, obviously they know here comes the knuckle curve.
Still have to see the ball hit the ball.
Yes.
And the 1-2 coming again. He's keeping the ball away from Ryan. He has a good changeup. Maybe not as good as Brian Talent, who we saw last night.
Well, here's where he's got this grip, this changeup grip. Now, he may not even throw that type of changeup, and he changes the grip inside the glove. And now he's going to throw it to Nick Johnson. He throws him a ball.
Zimmerman up the middle, double play ball. Turned by Hill, 6-4-3. Ryan Zimmerman hits into a double play for the 13th time this year. Adam Dunn got it done in the 11th last night.
The big hero. Manny Acta was telling me he was waiting for him to make contact hard somewhere. Thought he could win the ball game, and right there you see him shoot it down the right field line. And all they were saying around the batting cage today was, you know, and he was launching second deck home runs. They're like, sometimes it's not a big home run that wins you ball games. It's just putting the ball in play, and that's what he did last night.
Well, here's another such time. Front door breaking ball up and into Dunn, now hitting .268. That was his 48th RBI of the year last night. He is 6th in the National League in that. The shift is on. Scott Rowland, though, has to stay somewhat close to third. Adam drives the ball to left, but it's right at Adam Lind. That's it for the Nats. Leadoff hit. Guzman stranded. No score after one. Beautiful night here. Masson. And you Nats fans, it's never been easier to take in a ball game. See for yourself at StubHub.com, official fan-to-fan ticket marketplace of the Nationals. Blue Jays here tomorrow, and then a day off on Monday. The Red Sox for 3 before we commute up to Baltimore for a weekend series. And by the way, Chiron Martis, Ricky Romero tomorrow. Ross Detwiler back to work. 16 pitches, 9 strikes in the first inning. Adam Lind leads off, and it's up and away.
Now, do we stay at a hotel up there, or is it just basically a day trip?
We've been treating that as commuter day trips for the last few years.
Okay. So we don't get per diem or anything?
You know what? I don't know that. It's within a 50-mile radius, I know. Unless you live way out somewhere. If you want that per diem, you could rent a hotel room out by Dulles for the weekend, but you'd probably break even. 2-1. Lind, Rios, and Millar, the former Oriole. Kevin Millar here in the second. Detwiler working upstairs effectively so far. Adam Lind leads the American League in doubles with 22, and he's third with 36 extra base hits. 25-year-old outfielder from Muncie, Indiana, via a good baseball school, the University of South Alabama. Tried to pull that outside breaking ball, did Lind. Alberto Gonzalez throws him out. And 3 in a row for Detwiler since the walk to Aaron Hill. And then Alex Rios next. He's hot, 8-game streak.
This kid, Rios, he reminds me a lot of Justin Maxwell. Tall, thin, very good outfielder.
Yeah. They list him at 6'5", 215.
A couple of years ago, this kid was crushing the ball. They gave a long-term extension.
24 homers, 85 RBIs. In that 07 season, he played 161 games. And then 291 with 79 ribbies last year.
You get his home address in there?
Yeah. Guaynabo, Puerto Rico. If you can pronounce it, they'll tell you how to get there.
Wow.
Hey, it's up to me to fill in the blanks.
Hey, that's why I throw those out there. I didn't know what he hit that year.
And I'm still trying, I'm still trying to find
what?
The
Vernon Wells,
CFL stands on Vernon Wells II. How to play right side.
But I did look it up last night. It was the Calgary Stampeders.
I love that name.
I do too.
I loved it when Calgary played Saskatchewan. It was the Stampeders and the Rough Riders.
Still can't figure out CFL football though. What are they?
Teddy
3
Rosen.
downs and the field's wider and longer or something?
The end zone's like 30 yards. Forrest Gump would have loved that end zone. He could outrun everybody.
Run, Forrest, run.
3-2 to Rios. Detwiler throws a strike, and that's fouled. Alex Rios was a first-round pick of the Blue Jays, the 19th overall, taken in '99.
Okay, since the fireworks didn't go off last night, do they get them tonight?
I don't think so. That's a fair ball. That's one time when Ryan Zimmerman just had to wait for the hop. Played it well, 2 outs. How about the starters now? They're up over 25 innings over the last 5 games now, with only 4 earned runs given up. Steve McCaddy, you've done well, sir. But so have your young kids. Ultimately, it's their responsibility. And here's Kevin Millar hitting .246. Kevin did appear in the ballgame last night, 8th inning as a pinch hitter, and flied out with the bases loaded. The Nats made big pitch after big pitch last night to keep Toronto from winning that game in regulation. And you can say the same thing for the Blue Jays bullpen until the 11th inning. That was some battle last night. 2-1, taking 4 hours to play 11. "14 pitchers in that game last night. Oh, good looking fastball. Detwiler just missing with it. 3-1. Kevin Millar in his 12th year. .277 career hitter.
Great guy to have on your ball club.
Yeah, just ask the Marlins and the Red Sox and the Orioles.
I mean, he's a ball player. Does everything the way it's supposed to be done, fundamentally.
Yeah, and if you're not doing it as his teammate, he'll tell you to cowboy up and do it the right way.
Cowboy up.
One of the best
That's
lines
right.
ever. Look at that off-speed pitch, way out ahead of it. Kevin Millar knows what it's like to value being a professional ball player. He had to make his way through the independent league for a while. And a one-hopper to CRISTIAN GUZMAN. Ross Detwiler off to a great start. All 3 ground ball outs coming in the 2nd inning.
Nationals. And to go back to what we were talking about in the first inning with Brett CECIL, Bob, here we broke down both pitchers side by side. Look at CECIL on the left. See how far out that arm comes, and see how more Detwiler hides the ball behind his hip, trying to keep it from the hitter as long as possible. And then you see him step way towards first base. So our guy steps a little bit more across his body than CECIL. But there you go. He's showing the ball a lot more to the hitter than Ross Detwiler.
Elijah Dukes now, bottom of the second. Gonzalez and Harris to follow. A wide strike.
And that just shows you how good major league hitters are. That in that millisecond that they can see your knuckle hanging off the ball and they can tell what's coming.
What does a knuckle curve from a left-hander do to be a problem for a right-handed hitter?
Oh, it's going to drop almost 1 o'clock to 7 o'clock, or even 12 to 6, and it's going to go down and right around the back of the plate near his feet and his ankles if he throws it good or throws it well. I mean, it's an excellent pitch. I mean, Mike Mussina threw one of the best knuckle curves I've ever seen. That thing was ridiculous.
There's a breaking ball in on the hands of Dukes, and before that, the one pitcher that really seemed to maybe establish that pitch or at least make it somewhat well known was Bert Hooton of the Dodgers.
I played with the late Tim Leana on that Reds team, that was his one pitch. I mean, he threw 86 to 88, got ahead of you, but that knuckle curve was devastating. So when they talk about the nasty boys, the phrase really came from his knuckle curve, Tim Burgess's curveball, and then our fastballs, Randy Myers, Norm Charlton, and myself. But it was our entire bullpen. It wasn't meant to be the final three guys. And, you know, God bless Tim. He was amazing with that knuckle curveball.
That's a fair ball. Roland makes a good play, but Duke's way too fast. And the Nationals lead off the inning for the second time with an infield hit down third base way.
Elijah Dukes is going to get this ball down and in. He hits it off the end of the bat right over the bag. It's a fair ball. Scott Rowland makes a ridiculously good play. Throws from his knees. One hopper to Millar. Now, it was a little late, but it's still, you have to respect the play. That was fabulous.
Hey, 7 gold gloves. Only Brooks Robinson and Michael Jack Schmidt. One more at the hot corner. Here's Alberto Gonzalez. Now, he doesn't get to play all the time, but when he does, he takes advantage. 10 for 25 over his last 12 games. So that tells you he averages, when he plays, a couple of at-bats a night. Sometimes he gets in late for defense. Last night he pinch hit. Sometimes he pinch runs. But this kid has really begun to establish himself as a very useful part of this team.
A useful cog in the machine.
Yes, he is. He's 26 years of age, from Venezuela. Nats got him in a trade with the Yankees that we discussed in New York the other night involving Randy Johnson.
Look at that one. Runners on, 417. That's just being clutch and cutting down on that swing.
Yep.
Which he wasn't doing when he was up here at the beginning of the year.
You saw him take some big swings.
He took some big old hacks, but that's not his game. You have to know your limitations, and you have to know your game plan. And Elijah, see him work in progress as a base stealer.
A lot of hitting room over there. And Dukes is back in there. A pretty good blind swipe tag by Kevin Millar. The key to that for the first baseman is knowing where you are in relation to the bag, and you slap the glove down at the bag, not the runner.
Here's the Exmo of Millar's tag from the throw from Chavez. Is it Chavez or Chavez?
Chavez.
Chavez. I apologize.
Raul Chavez.
Raul Chavez.
He's been around a while.
Pretty good cannon for an arm, though.
Yep. He was with the Pirates for 42 games last year. They got him in that trade. Actually picked him up as a free agent in December. Good defensive guy back there. And Gonzalez hangs tough on a pitch up. Willie looking at those umpires, telling them, don't punch me out, I'll come and get you. By the way, I did a little investigative reporting today. I know what amateur umpires make. I spotted them in the President's Club at about an hour before the game, and how they're in the first row still is beyond us.
Still baffles you.
Yeah.
It could be on the take.
I tossed and turned a few times last night thinking about this. That's a little pop-up. Millar, and he made the play. Now, had he not made that play, Dukes would have been in no man's land because he was only about 15 feet off the bag. But Kevin Millar grabbed it with a nice play for the first down. And that was a fair ball when he made that play. Kevin Millar played independent ball 4 years in the minor leagues before he made it up to the Marlins. Kind of funny, when he was on the Orioles together with Jeff Conine a couple of years ago, it's like having two of the same guy on your ball club. They can do a lot of things well for you, play different positions, and they've been there, done that.
Two different personalities. I played with both of them. And Conine, while being one of the most wonderful people I've ever met, kind of a dry, witty guy, whereas Millar's just, he's all in all the time.
Willie Harris. That's inside with a fastball. That one was 91. We've seen CECIL throw as hard as 93 tonight. And again, this is a very young pitcher who's been fast-tracked to the big leagues in only his third professional season after a stellar career as a closer at Maryland. American League just checked in with another win as the Tigers beat the Brewers 9-5. Willie lays off the pitch upstairs, 2-1. Will Nieves batting eighth. He makes coffee nervous. Will cannot sit still. 2-1, target outside. He paints at the letters, and Willie doesn't like it. Willie Harris said, man, I'm 5'9".
Let's check out the pitch track on the 2-1 pitch here to Willie Harris. Well, it's a high strike, and we said early in the game, it's been a high strike zone. Just be consistent. Keep it there.
Runner going. Strike three. It's a strike him out, throw him out, double play. And Elijah Dukes is gunned out for the 7th time in 9 steal attempts this year.
A 3.02 ERA, and we've seen this week what good defense can do for those young starters. Here's more from Manny Acta on that.
Overall, when you play good defense, it gives these guys confidence that they don't have to strike everybody out, that they don't have to be making the perfect pitch, that if they're a sinker ball pitcher, that they can sink the ball over the plate instead of trying to make guys chase. So it's a confidence booster when you know that if a guy puts a ball in play, guys are going to make the plays.
And it goes both ways. When the pitchers are effective, it keeps the defense sharp too, Bob.
Yeah, I think that's where it all starts, Debbie. Thank you, and thanks to Manny, who always has something good to say for us on a daily basis, and he likes the way his team's going. But folks, have you noticed something about Manny Acta the last 3 days? He's no different than he was 4 days ago.
He's still Manny Acta?
Exactly. He is the same guy, whether you've won 3 in a row, whether you've lost 3 in a row, Rob. There's no craziness just because the club's on a nice little streak. And that's the first hit of the game as Raul Chavez sneaks one under the glove of Nick Johnson. Chavez now hitting over 270 with that base hit. And a great chance. Well, I'm not sure it is, but we'll see, for Brett CECIL, who's never had a major league at bat.
Well, you see the high fastball right there. Chavez just goes the other way with it. Just sneaks under the glove of Nick Johnson. Great job on the Exmo.
This could be ugly. CECIL just got reactivated and hasn't been around for any interleague play. He's a rookie, so you know as much about his hitting as we do.
First career at bat.
He will do well to get the ball in play.
Couldn't have been that atrocious. He was a couple years removed from college. Played in the Cape League.
He was a closer for the Terrapins. I don't know if Will Nieves got caught peeking at the runner, but that ball glanced right off his glove. And why would you? It's a catcher running, and he's down to second base with nobody out.
Let's see what happens right here. CECIL tries to bunt, and
they called it a wild pitch. It was far enough outside they could make that call. But I think Will would tell you he should have had it.
And most catchers will say if it hits the leather, they should have it.
Now the infielders really creeping in. Nick Johnson 60, 50, 40, 30 feet away as that ball was bunted. Now it's strike 2. So the Blue Jays have already accomplished what they hoped the pitcher would, and it'll be gravy for them if he can somehow push that runner to third base. Marco Scutaro on deck.
Yeah, he hit 307 with 23 extra base hits, 8 homers, and 41 RBI in college.
Wow.
Excuse me, no, back at DeMatha High School in Dunkirk, Maryland.
Okay.
So he hit a little bit back in the day. He's not that much of a slouch.
Have some treats. Get your red on. Starting at $14 a ticket. You can bring the whole family for a Sunday at the ballpark. 14's for upper right field terrace. $25 lower reserved either side. You get a hot dog, non-alcoholic drink, and chips. Minimum 2 tickets per purchase because it is a family fun pack. 888-632-NATS. Visit nationals.com. And on Sundays, pregame autographs, and the kids run the bases after the game. Grab Dad tomorrow and bring him to the ballpark. Give him a nice present. And then when you get to the ballpark, say to Dad, because this is the question Rob and I get asked every 5 days, how do you pronounce the starting pitcher's name today, Dad? And he'll say Chiron Martis.
Chiron Martis. It's Chiron Martis.
Well, that's a good pitch by Detwiler under the hands of Marco Scutaro. Counts even 1-1. Scutaro in this series 1 for 7 with a base hit. Came to town hitting .302. play him way around to the right in the outfield. Adam Dunn's more than 100 feet off the left field line. If you drew a straight line from home plate to the bullpen bench, where all the Jays relievers are sitting, Dunn would be in their way. And then Willie Harris is about 20 feet toward right center. Tried to get him on the fastball away like he did Vernon Wells back in the first. 2-2.
That's not too good. Look at the road earned run average.
Yeah, not many starts to get those. Now he's only made one start on the road. That was at Philadelphia, and that'll do something to your ERA. That ball unplayable for Dukes. He has started at home against the Pirates, Orioles, Giants, Reds. And we'll amend one thing. The game notes did not note Tampa Bay was a road game, so 2 starts on the road and the other 4 here. Deepest he's pitched into a game, 6 innings, 3 times. Tough hitter here. 2-2 pitch.
Well, his second time that he was out there against the Orioles, 96 pitches and 56 for strikes in 6 innings. And I think we would both agree he was working really hard that night.
Yeah.
And throw that many pitches. And then against the Reds a couple starts ago, 103 pitches in 6 innings. That's just a little bit too high for a young man. We've been told by Mike Rizzo some of these guys are on innings counts for the year. And there will come a time when, if they have to, they will shut down some of these young arms in this staff. And I agree with it. I mean, if you've got some kind of plan for these kids for the future, which they do here, and you're going to stick to it, then you're going to have to shut them down. But you're going to have to find the pitching somewhere else in the organization. And that's where they're going to have to go down to the minor leagues and bring some people up.
Yeah, September's going to be interesting around here.
Everybody wearing name tags.
Yeah.
Hey,
hi, my name is.
Exactly.
And I came from. You fill in Harrisburg or Syracuse.
There's some of the young bucks right there. Lannon and Zimmerman and Stammen. I wonder what they're talking about.
Oh, yeah. Lannon, the old man now.
Yeah.
It's so funny watching them because 2 years ago, you couldn't get John to say anything, and now he's like leading those kids around.
Look at that draft. Trice, Detweiler, Porcello, CECIL, Jordan Zimmerman. That's a pretty good draft.
Yep.
It's kind of close to a balk. Got to get out of that rubber a little quicker. Two outs. Forget that guy. Get the hitter.
Yeah, they get a base hit. Somebody could throw him out at home. Let's go after the hitter. 0-1 it is to Hill, way outside. Debbie Taylor, Manny Ecta already have something along those pitching lines in the back of his mind?
Well, that's right. I mean, we aren't going to see a lot of these guys once September hits. So somebody like Matt Chico, who's on rehab this summer, he could be here. And also Colin Ballister, who's doing quite well in Syracuse, could be here to start.
Yeah, Ballister's been hot for the last couple weeks. And Johnny Holiday updated us, along with Phil Wood, on Matt Chico. Finding his way back. Pitching some single A ball. Good to see Matt. He looks fit. That's an easy out. Nice, compact, easy delivery that we saw a couple of years ago. Well hit. Guzman on the backhand side. Pitch to contact. The boys will take care of the rest. And the Blue Jays have only scored in 1 of 14 innings here in town. Soldiers who are here tonight, as the Nats do in the middle of the third inning every night. Let's go back. Can you believe 16 years ago, the Wild Thing, Game 6, Joe Carter, October 23rd of 93. Folks, when that ball went over the wall, it was the last time the Toronto Blue Jays have been in the postseason. Second walk-off homer to win a World Series in history after Bill Mazeroski did it to the Yankees in Game 7 at Old Forbes Field back in 1960. And no playoffs for the Blue Jays ever since. They had been in the playoffs 85, 89, 91, 92, 93. A great run back then by Cito Gaston and his Blue Jays.
But Cito Gaston has been brought back to bring some of the magic back, and they have played better the end of last season and this season.
Yes, they have. Willie Avis up the middle to the shortstop, Marco SCUTARO. Last year, John Gibbons was let go, and Cito Gaston took over. John was let go on June 20th, and Cito Gaston led them to a 51-37 record the rest of the way. He had been, for 4 years, a guest coach at spring training. People forget Cito was a good ball player. Outfielder for the Braves, Padres, Braves again, and Pirates. He was known as Clarence Gaston back then, and he drove in 387 runs in 12 years. Ross Detwiler gets around late as a major league hitter. He's 0 for 8.
So looking for his first win and his first hit.
Yep.
He is definitely in search of.
Cristian Guzman with a base hit tonight. He's next. Infield hit in front of Scott Rowland back in the first. Detwiler puts it in play. 3-hopper, SCUTARO. 2 outs. Get your red on and a grand slam flex plan. Pick 4 games, get 1 free. 5 different plans to choose from. Your plan, your games, your seats, you get a free game. It's that easy. 202-675-NATS or nationals.com/Grand Slam. And one of those Grand Slam packages can also help you get into the ballpark if you do not have tickets for any of the Boston games coming Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. Here's Cristian Guzman. There's a tapper that'll be much easier for Rowland this time. He gets rid of the ball in a hurry. The Nats are done. On to the middle innings in a scoreless game at Nationals Park. Aflac trivia for you. Here's Medwick. Aflac! The manager, the best winning percentage in Blue Jays history.
The only other, well, I know Gibbons and I know CECIL. Bobby Cox.
Bobby Cox is a great guess. I might have to go with you on that one.
Wasn't he a GM in Toronto too?
He was. Coming into this season, Cito was 753 and 687 total.
How would you know that? You got that written down somewhere?
Well, you know, they say if you copy somebody, it's called plagiarism. If you copy two people, it's called research.
I like that.
Willie Harris puts that one away off the bat of Vernon Wells. And just for the fun of it, I'm going to look up my Atlanta notes just to see what it says about Bobby Cox. You can ask us a question. Ask about the Nats at massensports.com. We're always eager to hear from you if you have your baseball questions about the Nats. Let's see. Bobby Cox. That might be a good one, Rob, because in his 4 years in Toronto, he won 78, 89, 89, and then 99 games. So I'm going to go with you on.
So he wasn't there long enough to have a bad winning percentage.
Right.
It's a good thing.
Well hit. Scott Rowland has a 10-game hitting streak. He is now 19 for his last 41. And Adam Lind will be hitting with 1 on, 1 out. And Lind bounced out to Alberto Gonzalez first time up. Ross Detwiler's first 3 innings averaging 18 pitches per, 54 pitches, 33 strikes. And his first 11 batters, he only threw first pitch strikes to 5 of them. So not great numbers, but that's overanalyzing. He's getting outs.
Exactly.
Outs are all that matter.
I know we love the first pitch strikes and all that stuff, but what's his job one today?
Get the Nats in a position to win the game.
Absolutely. Job one, go 6 or 7. Give this team an opportunity to win the game, and maybe we can get him his first major league win. It's a nice 1-0 pitch right there.
Right on the edge.
That low call as well as the high call.
That ball driven to left by Adam Lind. 2 on, 1 out. Blue Jays have tripled their hit total here in the 4th.
Well, they're seeing him for the 2nd time now. They know what Ross Detwiler features. And if you're not working ahead and you're having to come back from being behind in the count, you're giving the advantage to the hitters. And Lynn takes advantage of that outside heater and smacks it into left field.
Alex Rios grounded out to Zimmerman tonight. He's 1 for 5 with a walk in the first 2 games of this series. Tampa Bay just beat the Mets 3-1 in New York. Double play ball. Gonzalez, Guzman, and well done. Manny Acta earlier this inning talked about defense and the pitching. There you have it. week. Great pitching on the part of both ball clubs, but especially the Nationals throughout this week. Bob and Rob back, bottom of the 4th inning, and Ross Detwiler really saved himself some pitches right there.
Absolutely. It was a great first pitch change up to Alex Rios. He's a really hot hitter. Usually when a guy's really hot, he's seeing the ball well. He's going to be maybe a little bit more aggressive than some guys that are trying to search for a base hit here and there. So that actually worked out to Detwiler's advantage. And one of the big things, Bob, we talked about, last night, Zimmerman, all those first pitch strikes, but sometimes you come out, you don't have your best stuff. Detwiler's not throwing his velocity up in the mid-90s like he usually does, but he's pitching. He's effectively consistent and getting outs, and that's what pitching's all about.
Nick Johnson has been on base 8 consecutive times. Johnson, Zimmerman, Dunn, bottom of the 4th against Brett CECIL, not far from home, Dunkirk, Maryland, and pitching very well so far. Nick Johnson on base ties Vinny Castilla and Dimitri Young for a Nationals record 8 times in a row.
I was talking to Manny Actor on the cage today. We were both kind of laughing about Nick Johnson's 0-2 walk, where he worked the count back into his favor and walked. And I just told him how annoying I think Nick is for pitchers, because that's not the kind of guy you want up there. You want guys that will swing at your best stuff, but he doesn't. He's got such a good eye. He'll stand there and take pitches so close. Manny loves that about Nick. I do too. It's just not many guys are that patient. Kind of like a safe cracker.
Well, it makes him ideal for the number 2 spot in the order. I mean, you're not going to lead Nick off. You're going to have somebody like Guzman or an Anderson Hernandez or Gonzalez type hitter. And man, you have this guy behind him. And then if you had a leadoff guy who is a bona fide base stealer, Nick Johnson would be even more productive because he takes pitches. Guys like Lou Brock, who had Ted Sizemore hitting behind him, Maury Wills, who had Junior Gilliam hitting behind him, and Ricky Henderson, who had Carney Lansford hitting behind him, will tell you how valuable it is to have a number 2 hitter who has the ability to make things develop and give it time, work in the count. Base hit, 9 in a row.
He starts his own record.
A new Nationals record for Nick Johnson. 9 times in a row on base, 11 games in a row, and 19 of his last 21.
Well, and as you talked about this, Bob, he got to a 3-2 count again. Brett CECIL having to work really hard just to try to get to this point in the count. Gets a decent pitch. Nick grinds out an at-bat right there and gets a base hit. Sets a new record for the Nationals franchise. But to get back to your point where you were saying, for the 3-4-5 guy to get basically 2 leadoff hitters in front of him, they're seeing every pitch that CECIL has in his repertoire. So the more patient a guy like Nick Johnson is, Zimmerman gets to stand there on deck and see everything he's got. Dunn gets to sit there in the hole at the end of the dugout and see everything that CECIL has that inning. So, that's what makes Nick Johnson so valuable to the rest of the lineup. We talk about Adam Dunn. Well, a guy that takes a lot of pitches is equally as valuable.
That's a great point, Rob.
But we do want Adam to swing more.
Yeah.
And not try to walk so much, because we need that guy to drive in runs and hit it off the walls and
we
all
want
that.
Damage.
Yes, damage control.
Up and away, 1 ball, 1 strike. Or in the words of Dibble, we will damage you and you will like it. Rusty Staub has the franchise record.
There's always a caveat.
There's always somebody who has more.
Expos hanging around.
I don't know.
Guerrero. Who's that other guy? That Jaime Manouche?
Heine Manouche.
Heine Manouche?
He was not an Expo.
No. He was a senator.
Yeah, he was long gone. I hear from some of our fans, and some of them say, we don't care about the Expos. You know, we just want to hear about the Nationals. That's ancient history. And I can understand that. But, you know, this franchise does have roots in another place, and it does have a pretty nice history of its own when you consider the players who've come through. It's just a shame that the Expos never drew enough fans in Montreal to be able to afford to keep the Guerreros and the Randy Johnsons and the Larry Walkers and, you know, Grissom and Tim Raines. I mean, the list goes on and on of great players developed by this organization.
Absolutely. And you still have some that were developed by the Expos with the Indians that are fabulous players. Cliff Lee and Grady Sizemore.
Yeah.
That could be playing here right now. Would you say, oh, well, we don't want to, you know, have anything to do with the Expos? Those two players were traded for Bartolo Colon years ago.
Brandon Phillips with the Reds traded away.
Yep, Brandon Phillips.
Omar Minaya, by the way, who was the GM that traded most of those away, if not all of them. So here's Adam Dunn, 1 on 1 out. Ryan Zimmerman's strikeout starting to pile up a little bit. That's number 54 on the year. He struck out twice last night.
I think it's all good. Now, you would know this more so than me. Didn't the Boston Braves go to Kansas City, then Milwaukee, and then to Atlanta?
No, they went
Something
to Milwaukee
like that?
first.
Milwaukee
the
first?
Philadelphia Athletics went to Kansas City.
Okay, so it's, I mean, some teams have traveled around a little bit.
Yes, they have. Well, they've gone. Then they went on
Kansas City to Oakland, right?
Yeah.
So, I mean, you know, how can you deny the history? It's just baseball. At the end of the day, it's all good.
I'm pretty sure the, you know, I mean, and the Oriole fans have the St. Louis Browns, who came there in '53. Other teams who've moved around. I mean, we've lost 2 teams in this town. 1 ball and 1 strike to Dunn. That ball gets away. Nick Johnson never saw it. It just fell right out of the glove of Raul Chavez. But Nick had the hitter, the catcher, and the umpire in his line of sight.
Well, this ball's going to just get by the catcher.
Did you see not Barajas, but Chavez there?
Chavez
he was looking at the runner, wasn't he?
He was looking at the runner. And Nick.
High strike and a breaking ball.
I think Nick was kind of shaded by Dunn and the catcher and didn't know where the ball was.
Yeah.
Screened. I was thinking of the hockey term.
Yeah. Like screening the goalie.
Yes, screening the goalie.
You know, but keeping him at first base kept Scott rolling up the middle on the shift.
What did Dunn do on this play?
He's waving him to second.
Come on, Nick. What are you doing? Oh, forget it, Nick. Come on, Nick.
1 on 1 out. Scoreless game, bottom of the 4th. These teams have really played a low scoring series, and that's an off-speed breaking ball. He took a little bit more off. His previous one was about 86. That was 82, and 2 strikeouts in a row.
Here's Brett Cecil on the delivery. As Bob said, he throws some kind of off-speed fastball changeup, and our Exmo captures Adam Dunn way ahead of that pitch.
That Exmo captures the effect of a changeup better than anything I've ever seen. You can see the bat is gone before the ball gets there.
The rotation, 500 frames per second.
Duke's reaching for an outside pitch. Rolling to second, that's it. Nationals get a hit, they've stranded 2. Pitchers rule tonight. No score, top 5. Tom leading George. George making up ground. Teddy, Abe nowhere to be seen. Although Abe is a great closer, Teddy will do anything to finish at least third. Down goes the father of our country.
Which one was the father of our country? Somebody
chopped him down. All right, buddy. You got rhythm. We know it. Top of the fifth. So does Ross Detwiler. So does Kevin Millar. Base hit. Dunn's going to have to hurry. Millar might be thinking too. He will make a big turn and come back. Adam played it well.
Maybe a couple years ago. I don't think Kevin's got the wheels he once did.
Ross Detwiler's given up 4 hits, all singles. The double play was big last inning. And now the number 8 man who got the first hit of the game 2 innings ago, Raul Chavez.
They're still not getting a lot of great swings against Ross, even though it's the second time through the batting order. That just shows you what kind of stuff he has tonight.
And this will continue a streak of Ross Detwiler starts when the Nats don't give him much run support. About 3.5 runs a game coming in. Chavez takes a strike.
He did sign for a nice bonus. Maybe he should take the starting lineup out for dinner.
Yeah.
It's always a good gesture for a rookie. Although Adam Dunn, I bet he can eat a lot of steak.
Yeah, you might want to pick a buffet place. Willie Harris stalking it. There he goes again. Willie Harris, a diving catch. Arrest that man. He has been larcenous 3 times this week.
This is just outstanding right here. A low dying line drive. He dives, possibly saves a run. That ball gets by him. Millar definitely scores. Here's the Exmo. Great job, guys, on this shot.
That's beautiful.
Look at that.
I tell you, he's got some landings. I wish my flights could land like Willie Harris does.
But more importantly, the defense. And you heard Maniac to talk about it, that the pitchers are now a lot more confident in the zone with their mistakes. And that's because of the defense. And that's putting some speed out there with Elijah Dukes and having Willie Harris in center field. Here's Elijah.
Willie Harris, I think, gets the best jump on a ball of any of our outfielders. I think Kearns goes back on a ball the best and has the best arm. Well, it was a good bunt for about 20 feet. Then it hit the lip of the grass and went foul. Strike 2. And the Nationals got Josh Willingham back today. I had a great conversation with Josh down around the batting cage. He wanted everybody to know how much he appreciated the expressions of sympathy and love for his family he has received this week. He said it's been a very difficult time. His mom and dad left on a vacation yesterday to get out of town and just get a change of scenery. And that was Josh's only sibling that he lost when his brother was killed last week in that tragic accident. Swing and a miss, 2 outs.
Well.
All right. Rob Dibble came up with it first. We've got some numbers to support it. The winningest manager percentage-wise in Blue Jays history, we think it's Bobby Cox. He averaged 89 wins a year for 4 years. Good question, guys.
Way to try to sneak that by us. Like a changeup.
Yep. We weren't sitting dead red on that one. Fastball up and away. SCUTARO for 2, fly ball to right and to first. And Detwiler drops a beauty of a changeup in there, 83 miles an hour, and the count's even 1-1.
Well, he hasn't thrown a lot of them tonight, and I've told you this before. I really like it when our pitchers don't show one of their out pitches until they really, really need it. He needed it last inning against Rios, got the double play ball on it. good to have that surprise in there.
Well hit left field. Dunn is right there. And Detwiler, 5 shutout innings and a big assist with 1 out and a man already on base. Willie Harris, a beautiful catch. West.com and by Acura. Acura Advance. A beautiful night for a romantic cruise on the Potomac. After the game, of course. And the bottom of the 5th inning coming up. Celebrate Father's Day here tomorrow. Nats Blue Jays 1:35. First 10,000 fans 18 and up receive the free gym bag presented by Geico. Player autographs before the game. The kids run the bases afterwards. Tickets at nationals.com, 888-632-NETS, or the box office. Yeah, you can walk up, get yourself some tickets for tomorrow.
And that's a great gift to give to Dad. Get him in shape for the summer.
You know, I think it's a great thing. Dad pays for the tickets, and then you're covered on the present.
There you go.
What's better than that? You know, and we don't have high expectations. We'd really appreciate something like that.
Absolutely.
Bottom 5, Gonzalez, Harris, and Nieves.
Cards are nice, too.
Alberto Gonzalez popped up, and Millar caught one over the shoulder on him first time. He was behind in the count, so he was battling. This time, taking a breaking ball, he's ahead.
Willie and I talked before the game, Bob, about the defense and the plays, and he's still upset. He'd like to hit a little bit more. And I said, listen, you're saving runs on the other end.
Yeah.
Defense is just as important. And that has really picked this team up in the last couple of weeks.
Nice play by Pat Listash, who picked it well.
Some of the double plays that have been turned lately have been amazing. I mean, it's just, you know, when everything's falling into place, everyone's on the same page, everyone's picking up everyone. Nobody wants to be the weak link.
Right. Target away on 2-2. And Gonzalez rips it. Stabbed by Aaron Hill. Great play. 1 out. And that goes both ways. Sometimes you hit the ball sharply, and the other guys take one away from you.
And I thought we just got rid of a great second baseman when we left Robinson Cano. Aaron Hill going towards shortstop. That is not an easy play. Well, I guess since it's such a hitter's league, and you see Alberto Gonzalez not happy, but when you go out there to second base, do the same thing to those guys. I guess you need great defense in that league. So many great hitting teams.
I think that goes often overlooked.
Yep.
Now the Blue Jays have only made 27 errors this year, 37 fewer than the Nationals, and Minnesota the fewest in that league with only 24. Can you imagine 24 errors in 60 some games? The fewest errors in the National League, 26 by the Phillies.
Cito Gaston.
It's a ball club that doesn't beat itself. Well, Cito used to do pretty well with Tony Fernandez playing shortstop. Willie Harris hits that ball a long way to left center. Look at it fly. It'll hop into the bullpen. A ground rule double.
Easy, Willie.
Willie hits that ball about 370 the other way.
See? Just think about defense. The hits will come.
Willie Harris with his 8th double. He has 2 triples and 1 home run. That's a great swing by him going the other way.
Well, Bob, you already know this. I don't have to tell you, but teams do not win championships without unselfish, versatile players. Willie Harris will play anywhere, everywhere. Anytime you put him in the lineup, he's going to try to contribute. Great catch in the field, and now he gets a 1-out double.
And our fans love this guy. I remember being out on the left field plaza under the red loft last year. We had a fan appreciation day on a Saturday late in the season. When we brought Willie Harris out there for a live interview for our season ticket holders, those fans went crazy. They adore him. They see a guy who plays hard. The hits are even at 4 now. We'll see if Willie Avis can pick up an RBI here. They'll pitch him carefully with the pitcher on deck, but still only 1 out. So this is not exactly like a 2-out situation against the number 8 hitter.
But you saw Brett CECIL start him off with a change.
Look at this jump.
Harris takes 3rd. Nobody watching him. Heads up baseball right there by Willie Harris. CECIL never looked back.
Harris is 5th of the year with only 1 caught stealing.
Well, watch Brett CECIL. He looks towards home plate. No one says a word as Willie Harris takes off. You got to tell your pitcher to step off when that happens.
Nationals' 23rd steal of the year. Now the infield has to come in, enhancing Will's chance of getting a base hit.
Well, I was going to say, he started Will off with a changeup, hoping he would bite. First pitch, maybe thinking fastball, and make an out before the pitcher comes up there. So Will did a great job of taking that first pitch.
Way outside with an off-speed pitch, 2-1. Well, Willie Harris, who knows how many runs he saved in the top of this inning. Millar was already aboard when he robbed Chavez out in the gap, and now he's doubled and stolen 3rd in a scoreless game. Two and 1 to Nieves. Breaking ball, left field. That ball heading for the track. It'll be caught by Lind. Willie Harris can trot on home, and he manufactured a 1-0 lead. There are times when a right field shooter has to muscle up and pull a ball to the outfield, left side.
Well, I don't think it gets any better than this kind of team baseball. Your number 7 hitter gets a double, steals 3rd with 1 out, and your number 8 hitter hits a fly ball before the pitcher steps up there, gets you the lead. Nice job, Will.
Willie Avis, 11th RBI of the year.
No, he's not going to stop talking. Just open the floodgates.
He's probably telling Willie, I had to hit that pretty deep to get you home. That's the kind of stuff they say to each other.
Absolutely.
He just hit Dunn on the back as he passed by, so obviously I think Adam Dunn might have dropped a warning track power line on him. All smiles in there. Nationals lead 1-0. 2-1 to Detwiler. Ross 0 for 1 with a ground ball to short. A tad tardy. St. Louis beat Kansas City tonight 7-1 in KC, so another win for the National League. That final just in. And Detwiler strikes out, but a good inning for the Nats. Willie Harris double steals, and then Nieves drives him home 1-0 into the 6th. Freeze Cam, Frost Brewed, Coors Light. Willie Harris Thursday at Yankee Stadium robbing Alex Rodriguez. Last night he'd made another great play, and that's what he did to Raul Chavez tonight. He's some athlete, isn't he?
Yeah, and the thing about it is that once you make that commitment that you're going to go for it, if it gets by you, it's devastating. Could be one, could be two, could be in the Parker. So you have to almost 99.9% think you're going to make this play, or at least smother the ball. So Willie's made some amazing plays.
I'll say one thing for the 30-year-old who has a birthday in 2 days from Cairo, Georgia. He is not lacking in confidence.
Oh no, no. But
Willie's got a little swagger to him, and that's fine.
But he's still one of the most unselfish players I've seen in a long time, and reminds me of guys I used to play with.
Yeah.
And that's how you win.
Strike one to Aaron Hill.
He's not sitting on the bench when he's not playing and moping and causing trouble and causing dissension down there at the end of the bench. He's rooting for his teammates, and when he does play, he's all in.
Hill hits it hard to right. It's Elijah Duke's turn. We used to say in the pool hall, talk's cheap. But
is that the swimming pool hall or the billiards?
That would be the billiards parlor.
Is that how you put yourself through college?
You may get a chance to find out soon.
Okay, I'll take you up on that.
I can see a wager coming on. But Willie Harris, and Willie doesn't talk much.
No.
But he's got that little swagger to him. That ball is hit hard. Vernon Wells tying the game. Bangs off the back wall of the bullpen. And that's his 6th of the year. And the 3rd given up by Detwiler in 7 starts. So the home run ball has not hurt Ross that much. That ball was really smoked.
Well, you asked me early in the game, what do you think about pitches that are up or a high strike zone? And you will get hurt if you leave pitches up like that. That's a hanging curveball right on the sweet spot of Vernon Wells' bat. And there you see Mr. Spalding leaving the building. And I know it's Rawlings. Yeah. You don't have to email or Twitter. It's just from that movie, Major League.
And then Roland goes up, first pitch swinging, thinking he might get a number 1, but that was a changeup. He's 1 for 2.
It's going to happen, though. We've said this about Zimmerman. We've said this about Zimmerman. We've said this about Martis. Some of our guys throw really hard. Even sometimes you're going to hang up at second or third best pitch. You're going to give up home runs. But if you don't walk anybody, it's not going to hurt and sting as much if it's a solo home run.
Yeah. That's the equivalent of 40 games between home runs for Vernon Wells. Hey, John Lennon gave up 2 solos at Yankee Stadium the other night and pitched a beautiful game.
8 1/3 innings, victory. That's what your job is.
0-2 not a Roland on a pitch up, and Nick Johnson has it. A pitch on 0-2 that was way too good, but Nick Johnson helps out his young pitcher.
Well, Nick Johnson has an amazing glove at first base, and this is just a reaction play. Not the most amazing vertical leap I've ever seen, but effective. No, we love Nick.
Honed on the sandlots of Sacramento. And here's Adam Lind with 2 outs, bases empty. Breaking ball, fly ball.
You got a guy there.
Center field, Willie Harris. And that quickly, the top of the 6th is over. You can make a lot of money and pitch a long time giving up solo homers. It's a 1-1 game.
been a bit more fiery when he was managing in the minor leagues, but he said it didn't get him anywhere. It's his cool, calm demeanor he thinks has added to his success.
I just can't believe why people want to get on somebody for having self-control. I have my own beliefs, and my beliefs are that patience and self-control, that's where the foundation lies for our success. So I'm not going to change it just to make a few people happy.
Tell you what, Bob, he'll keep everyone happy if this win streak continues.
Well, and the point I made earlier, thank you, Debbie. Manny Acta's the same guy tonight he was last Saturday. He's going to be smiling, though, because his leadoff man has an extra base hit.
Stay there.
Guzman in second.
That's behind you.
But he's going to think triple until the outfielder stops him. And Cristian Guzman has his 4th straight multi-hit game and his 25th of the year. So it looks like one of those games when each team will have a little punch, counter punch thing going.
Well, Cristian Guzman gets us going in this inning right here. It's down and in, and he smokes this right by Scott Rowland. He has no chance. He just watches it go by him. And as Bob said, you keep running like a triple until your third base coach and the outfielder stops you with a defensive play. Now, I wanted to get into the Manny topic, though, because I think this is a fantastic topic. People don't know Manny Acta like I think we know Manny Acta. I've had conversations that I will not tell people publicly, and he is one of the most fiery people and respectable people I've ever been around. Yep. So you may not think that he is fired up or he gets on this team. He does privately, and he's got a lot of fire inside there. So he's like Charlie Manuel. They're just very reserved. They're not like Lou Piniella, who I've played for. He's more like Pete Rose, where he's very reserved. You don't know what he's thinking, but he notices everything. There's nothing that gets by Manny Acta. So I think one of the worst things this organization could do is fire this man at this point. He is not responsible for what's happened.
And in a world we live in today, where celebrities constantly make fools of themselves by throwing tantrums and emoting in public, I find it quite refreshing.
And I was one of those tantrum throwers when I was a player. I was a poor loser. But Manny's none of that. That's not his style. But I can tell you, he privately, which is very classy and respectable, and that's how you get respect in this game, he won't call guys out publicly. And I hated that about managers that would do it in the papers and do it publicly, press conferences and stuff. So if you're looking for that from Manny, you're not going to get it. If you're looking for that from Charlie Manuel, you're not going to get it.
Nick Johnson's going to put the Nationals on top.
Nice job, Nick. 10 for 10.
Double. 2-1. The Nats double their runs. And Nick Johnson having an amazing series on base now 10 consecutive times to tie Rusty Staub's franchise record.
Gets a pitch up. See that beautiful swing, head down, never overswings. And it's a line drive double for Nick Johnson, but more importantly, the lead for the Nationals.
In this series, Nick Johnson is 5 for 5 with 4 walks. And his on-base streak goes back to Thursday in New York when he was intentionally walked in the 9th inning. How about that? The whole thing started with an intentional walk. Here's Zimmerman.
Had his own streak, 30 straight game hitting streak earlier in the season.
Now, if Nick gets a base hit next time, I wonder if they'll give him the bag.
Well, he just tied the franchise record.
Yep.
With Rusty Staub, Lagrange.
Zimmerman 0 for 2, double play, ball and a taken strike 3. He's looking to drive the ball the other way, out of play.
Well, they talk about Nick and bringing sexy back.
He do?
Well, because he always goes up there to the Justin Timberlake song, Bringing Sexy Back.
Oh, okay.
So we got to come up with a nickname for Nick. Big Sexy?
That's a family show.
That mustache is a family show.
Zimmerman drives the ball, and that'll be caught by Rios. And Nick Johnson couldn't even think about tagging on that one out.
Come on, Justin Timberlake. What's more apple pie and American than him?
Well, I'll tell you right now, using You know, some of the words these days mean just the opposite of what they say. Right now, the way he's getting on, he could be sick Nick.
Sick Nick.
He is sick good right now.
He picks it at first. We already know he's slick Nick.
Yeah, we already know him as that. A tradition of innovation is Firestone. Walks leaders in baseball. The Padres' Adrian Gonzalez. Why wouldn't you walk him? Adam Dunn, Mr. Pujols, the Prince, Lance Berkman in Houston. And then the little guy who leads off for Toronto, Marco Scutaro. Carlos Pena of the Rays. I know when we looked at the walk statistics several weeks ago, it's like, why are they walking Marco Scutaro?
To get to Aaron Hill, who's got 90-plus hits?
Yeah.
Come on.
Adam Dunn 0 for 2, a drive to left, and a swinging strikeout. And he might have been guessing correctly, first pitch breaking ball, but he couldn't get to it.
I wasn't thinking they're going to give Adam a lot to swing at with first base open.
True. It is a lefty-lefty matchup, so we'll see just how aggressive the Blue Jays want to be here. Brett CECIL has pitched a good game, just not quite as good as Detwiler. Right out the end of the bat, that'll advance the runner. And the shortstop, Scutaro, throws him out. Nick Johnson at third base, 2 down. And Elijah Dukes is hitting .290 with runners in scoring position this year. You're looking straight north, right up the left field line and right up South Capitol Street. On a beautiful night at the ballpark, warm and muggy, 85 at game time. But that wind coming right down Capitol Street has died somewhat. We had 20-mile-an-hour winds, 15 to 20 at the start of the game coming from the northwest. Dukes had a good rip at a first pitch fastball. By the way, when the Nationals brought Josh Willingham back to the ball club today, they sent Corey Patterson back to Syracuse. He was 2 for 15 with 2 stolen bases. And Corey came in very useful for a couple of days when the Nats could DH Dunn and put some rabbits in the outfield.
Souvenir. That young man will remember that the rest of his life.
Nice.
I found this out today. I did some research.
Yeah. Dukes hits that ball well to right center. It is still going, and it is dropped at the scoreboard. Johnson scores. Duke to third. They've got a shot, and they've got him. But the Nationals lead 3-1 on 3 doubles, and now a runner lost at third. 2-run lead into the 7th inning. Frisky on the bases. Vernon Wells got to this ball up against the scoreboard, couldn't handle it, so it did get the Nats a run.
Vernon, a Gold Glove center fielder right there, but doesn't know this field that well. That scoreboard is not a lot of fun to smash into. Earlier in the year, Austin Kearns smashed into it.
Boy, did he.
And there you see Nick. Come on, Nick, hit the plate.
He had plenty of time.
Yeah. Now, I can't say you're trading an out for a run right there, but that's still great hustle by Elijah Dukes. Got to take a chance.
8-6-5 on the play. Nationals lead 3-1. Here's Alex Rios in a very important 7th inning now for Ross Detwiler. He's working his way toward the bottom of the order. Rios 0 for 2, grounder to third, and a double play ball to second. 2-0.
Come on, Ross, you got to dig deep here. This is the longest he's been in a ball game this year. A chance to get your first victory.
Since the 5th of June, look at the Nats pitching as well as anybody in baseball.
All right, who do I got to go see to make sure that never comes up on the screen again? Oh, man. Man, it's just like, you might as well throw some black cats out on the field. A few ladders. Jeez. Hey, and this guy hasn't given up a home run in the last 3 at-bats.
Bang! Hey.
Well, you want to talk about somebody who doesn't change. And he is a very funny guy.
Yeah.
But during the game, Steve McCaddy is all business.
Breaking ball that was outside. Hey, this is just like Dragnet, Rob. Just the facts.
Oh, sometimes too many facts just make me nervous.
Close. Ball 3. Kevin Millar next here in the 7th inning. This Toronto ball club isn't done hacking. As Rob mentioned, they lead the major leagues in hits. But the Nationals, in 17 innings, have held the Blue Jays to 12 hits. I know. There we go again.
That's all right. I think the jinx is about over with you, though. So you tried to do it last night with the 0-8 in extra inning games.
By the way, Ross Detwiler retires 19 batters in a game for the first time. It's his deepest effort. T-shirt Tuesday's coming, the Nats and the Red Sox. First 10,000 fans get that patriotic Curly W T-shirt presented by Hard Times Cafe. Now there are just a few tickets left. Get them now. Grandstand seating is available day of game only at the team store box office starting at 4:35 p.m. on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 202-675 Nats for more information. Kevin Millar 1 for 2 with the base hit to left, and Ross Detwiler's ahead of him. Boy, Detwiler really got his pitch count down in the 5th and 6th innings. Really the 4th, 5th, and 6th. 54 pitches the first 3 innings, and only 24 total the next 3. Millar, fly ball to right. Elijah Dukes. Boy, I always love it when a starter gets to hear the 7th inning stretch, and Ross Detwiler is almost there. The number 8 hitter Chavez coming up. CECIL 93 pitches, 62 strikes through 6. But Detwiler, a total turnaround of his evening, even though he's given up a run, but that was a solo homer. But he's really attacking the zone.
Well, and he hasn't broken that changeup out too much tonight. And I think in those couple of innings where he was very economical, he got some big outs on the changeup. And our young kids are doing much better at not throwing all 4 pitches in the first inning or the first time through the batting order, so the other lineup can see exactly what they throw.
Yeah.
For people who don't know what we do, we're talking to the opposing announcers to find out what their pitchers throw. They're doing the exact same thing about us. They want a scouting report. They want to know what's going on. Well, that's exactly what the lineups want to do. Hey, what's this guy featuring today? And we talked about this with Nick Johnson. He'll make you throw everything in your repertoire because he'll just stand there until you throw him a strike. 2-1
to Chavez. Fly ball, center field, using the ballpark. Can of corn, Willie Harris, 7th inning stretch time. Ross Detwiler's longest outing in his major league career. 3-1 Nats take a stretch. Pitching. The Department of Defense. Clutch hitting. And a guy who's living on base right now, Nick Johnson. AT&T, the nation's fastest 3G network. AT&T, your world delivered. There's our game summary through 6.5. Vernon Wells, the only Toronto run. A solo homer in the 6th. Ross Detwiler pitching beautifully, giving up only that blast. And Nick Johnson, 2 for 2, a run, an RBI, a walk, and on base 10 consecutive times. So the Nick watch will be in full effect come the 8th inning. Unless he bats here in the 7th. Gonzalez, Harris, and Nieva 6, 7, and 8. Ross Detwiler showing a good demeanor tonight. His mound presence has been very good. And a breaking ball in the dirt. Detwiler, by the way, 93 pitches, 62 strikes through 7. Boy, I love it when you can say through 7.
Since everybody else seems to be trying to jinx the Nationals, if we win this ball game, we could actually join the rest of the major leagues in the 20-win club.
Oh, that would be nice.
Yes, we're still the only team in the major leagues in the teens, so maybe we can get into the adult category.
Off the glove of SCUTARO. Well struck by Gonzalez. And he was robbed of a hit by Aaron Hill last time, so that's justice. And here's Willie Harris. Geez, Rob, why don't you throw a couple of number 13s out there or something?
Right here, Alberto Gonzalez getting into the act right there. Throws the bat head out there, and SCUTARO cannot extend far enough to get that ball.
There's Willie Harris. He's responsible for at least 2 runs tonight. The one he prevented and the one he scored. So Willie's 1 for 2 with a double. Well, his 6th steal of the year.
Another run would be huge right here.
Yes, sir.
All the insurance we can possibly get.
Roland is shallow at 3rd. Willie takes that ball off the inside. They've been trying to pound him under his hands inside at times.
Ooh, those are not some good numbers.
You got to remember, this kid's only in his 3rd professional season. Blue Jays have a pitching issue or 2 right now with Roy Halladay hurt.
And he does recognize the whole hand behind the back. They can recognize it. So he's, when he went back and was working on this, he's trying to straighten up his body during his delivery. He feels that when he bends over too much, he really shows that ball out back.
Took a little bit off the fastball. 89 that time. 2-1.
See the above shot on Mr. Cecil. There you see it. Goes way out back and brings it over the top. And I would say also, when you get a little bit tired out there on the mound, that big arm swing is going to eventually slow down, and you're not going to be able to catch it up with the rest of your body, and you'll throw a lot more balls.
Willie Harris, a little pop up, and it'll be unreachable just over the dugout. 2 balls, 2 strikes.
Let's watch this. Watch the slowdown right there. You see it break way out. Then he comes back over the top. He's got a nice finish, though. He does not step across his body.
This will be his last inning. Pitcher spot due up first in the 8th.
Oh, you don't think 2 strikeouts warrants another at bat?
No, sir. They'd be happy to bat him if it was 3-1 them. Looks like B.J. Ryan might be throwing out there in the bullpen. He was the only guy who didn't throw last night for Toronto. Willie pulls a double play ball right at Hill. Scutaro turns it 4-6-3, and Scutaro really made Gonzalez get down. He came charging across at bat. 2 outs, bases empty, bottom of the 7th. Beautiful evening at Nationals Park in our nation's capital. The Nats are trying to win their 12th home game of the year, their 4th in a row overall, and as Rob said, trying to get out of their teenage years with win number 20. That was interesting the way you put that.
Yes, let's join the rest of Major League Baseball and get into the 20s.
Bases empty, 2 outs. Will Nieves. Detwiler is on deck. Manny might let him start the 8th. He's only thrown 93 pitches.
And once again, I talked at length with Pat Corrales about pitch counts and what the Rangers are doing and the way it used to be. And he relayed this little wisdom on me that when he used to warm up Hall of Famer Steve Carlton, every time he started a game, 120 pitches to warm up before a game.
Wow.
120. So he basically threw 2 games.
On to the 8th inning. Nationals 3, Blue Jays 1. From just a week and a half or 2 weeks ago, it's almost like, and I had this discussion with some of our bloggers here at the ballpark tonight, it's almost like we're watching a different team and a totally different style of baseball than we saw the first 2 months.
Well, yes and no. It's still the same team. this talent has been there from day one. We've talked about this, getting on the same page, getting the defense to go with the pitching, getting a little bit more offense. For a while there, the offense was just unbelievable, getting 10 runs a game, 10 hits a game. But now, when you have to play close games, the pitchers are up for the effort. The guys are scoring the quality runs you need to win some of these ball games, and the bullpen is holding the lead. And I think with this team, the one thing that has changed is a lot more veterans down there at the end of the ball game fighting to keep their jobs at the major league level. That's getting quality innings out of the bullpen.
Jose Bautista bats for Brett Cecil. Top of the 8th underway. Ross Detwiler pitching deep into the ball game and getting a well-deserved strike call from James Hoy. There's B.J. Ryan. The only member of the Toronto bullpen that did not perform last night. And you don't want to walk the leadoff guy in a situation like this, much less ever. You know, basically your manager has rewarded you by saying go out and get him in the 8th inning.
Yes. But I also think this team has rewarded Manny after all the speculation that he would be fired over the weekend when we went to New York.
Yeah. Leadoff hit Bautista. It's only the 6th hit of the night, and Manny's going out to get his young pitcher. And folks, you're going to hear a great ovation for a young man from Missouri, 1,300 miles away from home, who's got a chance to get a win.
Look at that. The whole team, though, the infield going in there. That's very cool. And by PNC Bank. PNC leading the way. From the young Zimmerman to the older Dunn, getting things done these days for the Nats. 3-1 lead, top of the 8th inning, but the Blue Jays have a runner aboard and Kip Wells on the way. Coming up on Nats Extra, Phil Wood, Johnny Holiday breaking down Ross Detwiler, 7+ innings, 99 pitches, 65 strikes. A dazzler again in the outfield for Willie Harris. And tomorrow, Chiron Martis for the Nationals. And for the Blue Jays, Ricky Romero. I just think Ross Detwiler didn't have his best stuff tonight, but that's the best pitch start of the season for Detwiler. Didn't have his great breaking ball, didn't have a overpowering fastball, but he made it work and did exactly what he was supposed to do, put this team in position to win.
SCUTARO 0 for 3 tonight.
And I just think the transition or transformation from spring training, when we were told, or I was told, that, you know, how fidgety he got with people on base, and he was, you know, he made Coffee nervous about Ross Detwiler. What a transformation. Now I think this kid's just an absolute warrior, and he's got a huge heart, and he battles every inning. Love watching the kid throw.
There's a bunt.
Get one.
There's a play. And there's an out. Well done by Kip Wells. They'll give him a sacrifice. They always do, but he was bunting for a base hit.
Here's Kip Wells, the way he falls. You saw him fall towards first base. His momentum went that way, so he's got to get off, field his position, and just a perfect throw to Nick Johnson. Now watch this. Momentum's taking him towards first. Now he's going to stop, get back, so he can field his position. And that's the thing that, you know, it's easier said than done. That, hey, get off that mound and cover the third base side. That's something you work on in spring training. But first, you got to make the pitch.
Yeah. Outside to Hill. And you saw in the center field camera replay a good job of traffic control by Willie Avis, pointing and barking 1-1-1. Base hit. That was a breaking ball. Adam Dunn. They're going to send the runner. And that was not good by the Nats. Adam Dunn missed the cutoff man, and the tying run's at second base. That doesn't go down as an error, but it's a mental error by Adam Dunn. And it's a 3-2 game. You cannot give the hitter second base.
Well, great point by you, Bob. Right, you got it. Fundamentals will win you a lot of ball games, and if you hit the cutoff man with this throw, you gun down the guy at second base. But if you throw it over Zimmerman's head, now the tying run just trots on into second. So yes, it's always nice to try to throw the runner out at the plate, but there's always another part to the story. And there he is, Aaron Hill.
Aggressive coaching by Nick Leyva, and here's Wells. Nick Leyva's been a good third base coach in the major leagues for a long time with Cito Gaston, and before that with Whitey Herzog in St. Louis. And he knew he had some speed going there. And here's Wells, who hit a home run last time up.
Nice breaking ball. Well, you're way ahead. That one got a little too much of the plate. He's already got a home run on the night. I'm going to put this in the dirt, or so far out he can't get anything on it.
Dangerous cleanup hitter on deck. Foul tip. One Wells trying to put away another here with one out, top of the eighth, in a 3-2 game. That got away from Willie Avis. Tying runs at third base with one out.
He may have crossed Will up right there on that pitch.
They're going to call a pass ball.
No, I think they wanted a breaking ball right there, and I think Kip gives them a fastball.
Yep.
Little things. Communication, fundamentals, hitting the cutoff man.
Well, they don't call it WP for wild pitch, but it could have been for wrong pitch. So a pass ball on Nieves, the infield in. 1-2 to Wells. Breaking ball popped up. Guzman playing shallow. He's got to get out there. He is there. Big second out.
Get it in.
Now the infielders can back up, and it'll be Wells against Roland.
Well, You see Will set up outside, and this is a backup breaking ball that couldn't have worked any better than that. Maniac is going to make a pitching change right here. But he does get the pop-up right there and saves a run at third.
And this is how he feels about Joel Hanrahan these days. The big right-hander coming in against another big right-handed hitter. The series will go at 1:35 with first pitch. Ricky Romero 2-1 for the Blue Jays. They're 4-4 at his 8 starts. That's getting a dose of southpaws, and Chiron Martis winless his last 6 starts for the Nats. Father's Day game will get you going at 1 o'clock with Nats Extra, Johnny Holiday and Phil Wood. That's Masson 2 and DC 50 will join us tomorrow. Here's a matchup of big fellas. Joel Hanrahan, 6'4", 250. Scott Rowland, 6'4", 250. Tying runs at third base, 2 outs here in the 8th. Joel was outstanding in the 8th inning last night. He actually pitched the last 2 outs of that inning and then a 1-2-3 ninth. Rowland takes a beauty of a fastball in the outside corner.
I was talking with Darren Fletcher today and talking about Hanrahan. He said, how can this kid who throws 95 not just throw 95 and try to blow by people?
Game tied. 95-mile-an-hour fastball, and Scott Rowland turned it around.
Yeah, but the location was just terrible. He was up. Still have to locate it.
That run charged to Kip Wells, and a win taken away from Ross Detwiler.
Well, now you have to do damage control right here. Pitch location is going to be up in the zone, very hittable. Rowland did not try to crush the ball, just put it in play for base hit, tie the ball game.
Scott Rowland 2 for 4 tonight. He has 3 hits in the series and a 10-game hitting streak. And here's Adam Lind. And they're going up hacking.
Well, it's a very good hitting ball club. You knew it was just a matter of time before they'd put a couple of singles and maybe a double here together, get themselves back in the ball game.
Another line drive knocked down by Alberto Gonzalez, and that keeps Scott Rowland from going to third. So the Blue Jays are hitting the ball hard against Wells and Hanrahan here in the 8th after that leadoff pinch hit by Bautista. Alex Rios now with the lead run at second base. Alex Rios 0 for 3 tonight. 1 for 7 in the series. Blue Jays have put 4 hits together to tie the game here in the 8th. First pitch slider for a strike. Two and one.
You know, some of the conversations I had today were about velocity versus pitching. And it's not just how hard you throw. It's about the movement, the location. Remember Billy Koch threw 100. Threw 100, but he threw it straight. And he was very hittable at times.
Yeah.
Got to be able to locate the corners and be able to pick your spots. And there you see a couple of great sliders, but it's still 95 up in the zone. You know these guys can hit that. And you said Scott Rowland's one of the hottest hitters in baseball right now.
2-2.
So is this guy.
No swing, says CB Buckner down at first. That's big because now the count goes to 3-2 and the runners will be moving with 2 outs.
Well, I think he got him. He pretty much broke the plane to me. Here you see him from the side angle. Just have to do it again. You throw it on 2-2, you should throw it on 3-2.
Got him that time. And the Blue Jays will tie the game. 2 runs on 4 hits. Bottom of the order, number 9 for the Nats, and then the top in a 3-3 game. Trip at Southwest.com. By Aflac, we've got you under our wing. And by Acura. Acura Advance. Lots of curly W's, DC's, and Nats to choose from. Or you might wear your own cap with your team to the ballpark. We're going bottom 8. Our copyrighted telecast presented by authority of the Washington Nationals may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. Josh Willingham against B.J. Ryan. New pitcher, new hitter, bottom of the 8th in a tie game. Josh told me he was only able to swing the bat one day of the week he's been gone. Still shaking off the after effects of that viral infection that left him very weak in his muscles about a week and a half ago. Good to have Josh back with the ball club. He said he's glad to be back after a very, very difficult week. B.J. Ryan, meanwhile, a 5.71 ERA, 19 hits in 17 innings. It's a lot of money for a setup guy.
He's had a lot of arm trouble with the Toronto Blue Jays. They probably paid a lot extra for B.J. Ryan and A.J. Burnett to get them and coax them when they were free agents up to Toronto, a little bit more than most teams.
Yeah, now.
And A.J. Burnett, after he finally paid off and won 18 games, was able to opt out of his contract and make more money and go to the New York Yankees.
Yeah, one's gone, one's not well. Ball 4, leadoff walk in the bottom of the 8th. CRISTIAN GUZMAN got things going with a leadoff double. Rob back in the 6th, another multi-hit game.
Well, he knows the firepower behind him, and if he can get on the double, then Nick with a double, and Elijah Dukes with a double. And that was the big 2 spot put up on the board in the bottom of the 6th inning, right after a Vernon Wells home run in the top of the 6th to tie the score. So that was a great job by the Nationals, coming right back and saying, no, 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 no. You're not having that momentum. We're taking it right back.
Guzman could be bunting. It is the bottom of the 8th, and you're the home team. I'm not sure that would take the bat out of Nick Johnson's hands against a left-handed pitcher. You'd have Zimmerman next, but they do have a right-hander warming. Guzman, no sign of bunting. Guzman does have 2 sacrifice bunts this year, and that's Sean Camp, who was pretty impressive here last night, getting a couple of key outs in the 7th inning. Mike McDougall, the Nats closer, up
in case we get the lead.
Maybe pitching the 9th either way. Guzman saw a pitch up, and he was trying to muscle that thing out of here. There he is, Mr. On Base. There's a bunt. That'll move the runner. Well done by CRISTIAN GUZMAN, his 3rd of the year. So Manny gave him a pitch or 2 to see if he could drive a ball somewhere. And then when the count got to 1-1, a perfect sacrifice.
Almost like a decoy with that big swing, where they thought, oh, he's not going to bunt. He's going to go for the downs. Hit a double his last time up, and then he lays down a very nice sacrifice bunt.
10 consecutive times on base over 3 games. Here's Nick. That'd be funny if they intentionally walked him, and that's how he would get the record. But they have a right-hander Zimmerman on deck.
Yeah, you want to try to get this lefty pitch around Zimmerman if you could, and then go after Dunn.
Front door breaking ball on the inside for a strike.
I think Cito Gasson's more of a percentage guy than trying to force the double play with a righty up there against his lefty that has struggled. Ooh, hey, a pass ball would work. Oh, watch out.
Chavez, a nifty pickup, and then a throw down to second.
I'm not a big fan of that, because if he throws that into center field, Willingham's standing on 3rd with 1 out, but you know, Chavez wants to show off the arm right there, and great job by Marco Scudero coming in and just grabbing the ball, saying, easy, big shooter. Let's ease up a little bit.
Nick Johnson up the middle, right near the bag, and 2 outs. Over to 3rd goes Josh Willingham. Nick's on base streak is over at 10. Fans give him a nice round of applause. They realize what has happened here, and it'll be a right-handed matchup, and Cito Gasson will make a double switch here. He's usually one of the last guys to bat in the previous inning, which would be Lind or Rios in left or right. We'll see what he does.
Well, and if this game does go extra innings, we were told before the game that there's only 3 pitchers available in the Blue Jays bullpen. They've already burned 1 here.
Joe England has come out of the dugout. He's listed as an infielder. We'll see what Cito Gaston has in mind. Camp on the way. We got some interesting game notes for you revolving around Canadian players. Larry Walker, brought to the big leagues by the Expos, inducted into their Hall of Fame. Another Canadian, Eric Bedard of Seattle.
Oh, there's a shocker. Bedard's on the deal again.
Yeah. And then Jason Bay, former Pirate, present Red Sox, leads the American League in RBIs. Only Prince Fielder with 67 has more.
Manny who? They love Bay up in Boston.
Well, he's at times more lovable. Camp against Zimmerman. Ryan hits the ball hard, but right at the center fielder, Vernon Wells. We're going to the top of the 9th inning. It's going to be another one of those kind of games. 3-3. They're paying attention to what's going on in other parts of baseball. And Rob, on the heels of the Red Sox possibly with a 6-man rotation, what do you think about Peter's question from McLean?
Well, I don't think it would benefit the evolution of the young staff that we have here. But in Boston, the reason why they thought about going to a 6-man rotation was because they brought in Smoltz, they brought in Penny, and they figured, okay, you know, if one of those guys comes back, it'll be good. But Daisuke Matsuzaka has been so bad, they're already going to skip him in the rotation when they bring Smoltz back against the Washington Nationals. So I'm not a big fan even of the 5-man rotation. I wouldn't mind going back to a 4-man rotation, but that would take decades to develop pitchers to do that.
Yeah. Decades, lawsuits. And here's Mike McDougall, no save situation tonight. But I think Manny has already made the point that when Scott Olson gets back, and he's getting closer, there will be one pitcher sent to AAA. It will not be because that particular pitcher did not do well here.
And I have no problem with that. You put some chips into Scott Olson, bringing him here. You could even have Scott Olson basically audition for a trade. But your future, you have so many great young pitchers in this organization. You're not hurting one of them by sending them back and possibly ending their season when the minor leagues ends September 1st.
Toys in the attic, many trivia questions.
2 balls and no strikes to Millar.
Phil's taking all his good ideas. Nobody's now. He doesn't care about us.
No, that's not true.
The 19-year-old.
Good fastball. Guzman charge it for that last hop. 1 out. Raul Chavez 1 for 3. And a reminder that Joe Inglet will be batting after that. He came in on the double switch to bat 9th.
We've talked about, you know, there's going to be some growing pains with the young staff. Not just losses, this nice winning streak, but having too many guys at the major league level, and you've got a lot of money invested in a few of them. And a lot of them are very, very young as well. And that's a tough decision sometimes. It's actually a good one to have, because then other organizations see you have extra pitching. Well, we need extra pitching to move forward in the playoff race. What do you want for them? And that's where you start thinking about how you're going to build for the future here in Washington.
Raul Chavez has hit the ball sharply twice. A base hit to right, robbed of extra bases by Willie Harris. And then a fly ball to Willie that ended the 7th. Guzman for another one. You can follow the Nats on your iPhone, your iPod Touch. It's called MLB.com at Bat 2009, featuring play-by-play video highlights and live audio broadcasts. Visit Nationals.com on your iPhone or iPod Touch to purchase. This is Joe Inglet, 30-year-old infielder from Sacramento. Played at the University of Nevada, Reno. And he's 4 for 22 in a part-time role, 1 for 6 as a pinch hitter, but he's already in the game as a right fielder. Right at the letters, McDougall, 98. Wow. He's getting loose these days, isn't he?
Oh, he's always had an amazing arm.
Yeah, that's pretty uncomfortable. 97 inside.
See, you and I look at that differently. I don't find that uncomfortable. Well, I find that as a purpose pitch and setting up this next.
That means you're the pitcher and I'm the hitter. I'm out of here.
No, but see, these guys are professionals. He just stands right back in there.
Yeah. Overpowered him. 3 ground balls. Let's see if the Nats can get it done.
Let's get some runs.
Adam with a base hit to walk off last night. He'll lead off in the bottom of the 9th in a 3-3 game.
the conclusion of this ball game. Phil, Adam Dunn did it last night. We got a 3-3 ball game. Can he do it again tonight?
Well, we certainly hope he does it. It'll come to us much quicker if he does. We won't be here all evening. But a tough one for Ross Detwiler to not get his first big league win. He pitched exceptionally well and obviously earned another start down the line and another amazing evening for Willie Harris.
We don't want to go to extra innings, although the Nationals did get their first extra inning win last night. Let's see if they can win this baby in the bottom of the ninth. Back to Bob and Rob upstairs.
Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Phil. We would call that getting off the schneid last night. And now time to make it 2 in a row. Dunn, Dukes, and Gonzalez. If it goes that far in the bottom of the ninth, and the Blue Jays do have a right-hander on the mound. We did see from Sean Camp last night, though, he has some serious swing back action to his fastball, so he can really move that thing away on the left-hander. Adams 0 for 3 tonight. Second in the league with 54 walks, so you have to throw him strikes. Ball 2. 1:30 tomorrow. Martis, Romero. Will it be a deciding game, or will someone in a home uniform be going for a sweep? Masson 2 and DC 50 tomorrow. He goes soft to get a strike. 2-1. I'm way out ahead of that one.
That was a big mistake by Camp. He was supposed to be going outside and low with that pitch. He comes inside and high. Watch his catcher right up, set up here. Low, low, low. I want that. Oh, man. Ooh. Wanted a changeup down and away, and that almost went up and away.
2-2 pitch. He goes around the plate with a side door breaking ball, and the count's full. Probably see Anderson Hernandez pinch run if they walk Dunn. Elijah Dukes is next. Adam Dunn gets around it and fouls it. 18 home runs this year. 4 away from 300. 48th RBI last night. The shift is on, and look where the second baseman is.
Look at where Aaron Hill is, Bob. This is like a softball game where you used to have that roving outfielder. Aaron Hill is 20 feet behind the dirt.
That's going to get him.
Come on, that's not even close.
That's a breaking ball that James Hoy calls on the outside corner. 1 out.
I think the first time this ball gets to plate is when the catcher throws it around the horn. Look at how far outside that pitch is.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, it looks pretty. It's a pretty pitch called a backdoor slider. But baseball is about throwing the ball over that white thing. It's called a plate.
Here's Dukes.
Well, Elijah was really swinging the bat well during batting practice today. Carried over into the game, and hopefully he can carry one right here. Just need somebody on base. Start with one.
Couple of knocks for Elijah tonight. A base hit and a double. 1 RBI.
There you see that hard sinker that he and Angels pitching coach Mike Butcher worked on. We talk about the touch and feel of being a pitcher. Sometimes just moving your fingers closer together puts movement on a baseball.
Two outs. Sean Camp has now pitched to 4 hitters in this series and struck out all 4 of them.
0-2. Look at the movement on this pitch. Got the Laredo inside-out arm swing, and then the ball just drops off the table for Elijah.
Last night, Dukes and Bard. Tonight, Dunn and Dukes. One hitter did make contact. That was Zimmerman last inning.
We'll take that.
And Alberto Gonzalez is the winning run on base. He's 2 for 4 tonight. Interesting situation now. Left-handed batter, right-handed throwing catcher, of course, but a possible steal situation to get the winning run to second base for a line drive hitter.
Bob, watch the way Alberto Gonzalez comes around first base. He kind of looks like, I'm not doing too much, but this is just in case a bad throw or the ball gets away from the infielders. Look at, you run hard around that bag. Very aggressive base running right there by a young player.
One bobble and you've got 90 more feet.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that's putting pressure on the defense.
This will be interesting to watch. Gonzalez only 1 steal this year in 1 attempt. Well, they're playing deep. Willie Harris might be able to drop a base hit in front of any outfielder.
Oh, and I think if you hit one in the gap, Alberto Gonzalez should try and score on it.
Sure.
2 outs, you're running on contact.
Holding on that pitch. Ball 1 up and away. Willie Harris may have already saved the game with his glove. A chance to win it with the bat. Will Nieves is next. Way outside 2-0. Interesting pitch here because the Nats know he's got to throw a strike.
Well, he's got to throw a strike. And Scott Rowland is playing Willie Harris to pull. If he throws another one of those sinkers, I would hope Willie Harris would try to wrap it around third base. Look at that hole.
Yeah, it's about 30 feet. That's ball 3. That's that pitch you were talking about, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, sometimes you got to think as a hitter, okay, they're playing the defense this way, but this guy's already thrown 2 pitches a foot outside on me.
Willie Harris high in the air and foul. He was trying to hit his 2nd home run of the year, pumping on 3-0.
Yeah, 3-0. I'm sure he has the green light, but has to make sure he's going to kill the pitch. And he did.
Yep. Two on, 2 out. Manny Acta's going to call Will Nieves back, and he will bat Anderson Hernandez.
Right man in the right place. Let's go, Willie.
Interesting that if Adam Dunn walks earlier in the inning, Anderson Hernandez is probably not available for this at bat because he would have been the pinch runner.
Well, I like it too because Anderson Hernandez has great speed. Millar's playing almost on the grass. If it's a foot race to just get us in field single right here, I'm going to give it to Anderson.
Now the outfielders can't play so deep because there's a runner at second base.
And he's got to be moving on contact. 2 outs. Crack of the bat, you're going.
All right, he wasn't swinging first pitch right after Camp had walked a batter. Anderson Hernandez this year as a pinch hitter 2 for 5. When he plays, it's usually a starting role. That's a breaking ball in there. Started outside and came right back inner half.
You can see the movement of this sidewinder curveball right here. All right, now you got to be protecting.
swing. Close enough based on the strike 3 call to Adam Dunn. The Nationals leave 2. They've stranded 5. Oh yeah, extra innings again. Four in extra innings. The Nats are 1-8 after last night's win. And a 3-3 game. New catcher, of course, after the Nats hit for Willie Davis. And Josh Bard will take over, batting 8th. Because he only threw 9 pitches and got 3 outs in the 9th, Mike McDougall, no problem coming out for the 10th.
Well, and also Jesus Colome, by pitching well last night, winning that ball game in a timely fashion that the Nationals did. They did not have to use Mike McDougall. Keeps them a little fresher for tonight. And the longer this game goes, if it does go a little longer into extra innings, really puts pressure on Cito Gaston and that bullpen. We told you only has 3 guys available down there.
Baltimore just got 3 in the 9th at Philadelphia to lead 6-5, and Josh Beckett just polished off a 5-hitter against Derek Lowe and the Braves, winning 3-0 at Fenway. So here we are, top 10, top of the order for the Blue Jays. Each team with 3 runs on 9 hits. Marco Scutaro 0 for 3 with a sacrifice. Now McDougall hasn't been closing for the Nationals that long. So he's still a guy that's fighting every day to earn and keep his job out there. No surprise at all that he would come out for a second inning. There are some closers you would not do this with, but the Nats are not in that category right now.
No, and I know the 3-game winning streak is a big deal to a lot of people, but I'm a firm believer in, okay, you know, you're going for the win tonight. What you did those last 3 games, really, you got to put that behind you. We're still a team that's 27 games under 500. You know, you have to build off of every game like it's Game 7 of the World Series. And like you said, it's not the same position as maybe being 10 games over 500 or 2 games in first place in your division. You're not going to wear down your closer. When you're trying to fight and scratch and claw for every win right now, you may see another inning out of McDougall. No, I'm just kidding. But, you know, you're going to try to go as long as you can with your best people.
3-1. Mike McDougall, 32 years of age.
Remember, he was let go by the Chicago White Sox and picked up by the Washington Nationals. And you made a great point. Every day, a lot of the pitchers in this bullpen are fighting for a job.
He walked him. Leadoff man aboard in the 10th. Scutaro is a running threat. 7 steals in 11 attempts on the year. Not impressive numbers, but a good Batman with control after him and Aaron Hill. This is a guy who could show you bunt and then single on the next pitch. So the Nats have a lot to deal with now with that runner on and this man in the box. He got the base hit after the Scutaro sacrifice to drive in Jose Bautista to make it a 3-2 game back in the 8th. He's hacking for now. This might be in a bat like Guzman had. Let him hack for a strike or so, maybe sacrifice. What do teams usually do on the road in a situation like this?
Right here, where you have the leadoff guy on base, and you have one of the best contact guys, and then you got Vernon Wells. I'm trying to put this guy on second and let Vernon swing away. You know you have no bullpen. You got to go for the win right here.
Yeah. Zimmerman picks it. Should make it a double play, but a bad throw. He hung Gonzalez out to dry. And so the Nats will settle for 1. And Gonzalez, floating in the air, kept that ball out of right field.
This is an absolute shot right there. Ryan Zimmerman's got plenty of time. Takes a little too much off of this and just kind of lobs it over because Alberto Gonzalez, who normally doesn't play second base, is not there yet. Great play shown by the Exmo. And you saw him kind of pump right there. Then he lobs it.
Yep. That play kind of a microcosm of Zimmerman's season. Amazing with the glove. At times erratic with the arm. But nobody catch.
Well, everybody really, in his defense, since there's nobody there, there's nobody home, and he's trying to get it to second base to start the double play. I mean, that's you're putting Gonzalez in the game for his offensive prowess, trying to get him some more at bats, and that's what Maniac is trying to do. Maybe a normal second baseman is already at the bag. We'll never know that, but
yeah. Well, that ball was hit pretty quick to Zim.
Yes, he had plenty of time.
And nobody matches what he does with the glove. There's no doubt about that.
And that goes back to us saying, should you bunt right there? Yes, you let him swing away, but you almost got a double play and killed yourself in a rally situation.
1-1 to Wells, 1 for 4 with a solo homer. All right, this should be 2. Gonzalez, no trouble there. And Mike McDougall has just thrown his 3rd double play in his last 3 appearances. That was a room service right there. Here in the 10th, the Cal Ripken Senior All-Stars, the Valley League All-Stars, Mid-Atlantic Classic, July 15th in Waldorf. It's on Mass in HD at 7:05, Home Run Derby 5:30. Your donation appreciated if you show up for the ball game. Ripken SR, as in senior, collegebaseball.org or 410-588-9900 for more information. He bats for Mike McDougall. Gets a double play ball, 2 scoreless innings for Mike. And Austin Kearns trying to work out of a 10 for 75. He has shown us over the last several games he's starting to hit the ball a little harder. Hit into some bad luck this week. Breaking ball, tries to pull it. Rolling to his left. Well played, 1 out. Austin Kearns, another one of those big right-handed hitters that when he's really going well, he will drive the ball the other way, but Austin's not doing that right now. It'll be Guzman with 1 out. Batting for the 5th time tonight. 2 for 3, a single, a double, a run, and a sacrifice.
Right here with 1 out, with the middle of the order coming up, and Nick Johnson. I was going to say, any way you can get on base.
Good play by Millar, 2 outs.
Well, now that's up to Nick.
It's 10 o'clock. This is a quick moving ball game until things got tied up, and then it slowed down. So we're nearing the 3-hour mark. Already in the 10th inning of a 3-3 contest. It took 4 hours to play a 2-1 11-inning game last night. Oh, look at that bat. It just moved. See, we have to really get in tight to see that thing move. When's the last time you saw a clock hand move like that?
When it's trying to catch up with the real time.
That clock's had a problem here and there, but tonight he's right on.
Well, how many people want to go up there and change the battery?
That's a big battery.
There's a big battery.
That's at least a D. Nick Johnson, a walk, single, RBI double, and a grounder. Bases empty, 2 outs. Well, he's really bending that breaking ball in on the left-handers. Struck out Adam Dunn with it. Camp's given up 2 home runs in 28 innings this year. And that little chopper will give him 3 scoreless innings in this series. He'll do it unassisted. On to the 11th for the 2nd straight night. Second marathon in a row for the Nats here. Well, maybe 3 counting the rain on Thursday. 3-9-0, both ball clubs. On the heels of 2 scoreless innings for Mike McDougall. Jesus Colome into the ball game. He came in the 11th last night. Got his first win of the year as he pitched the 11th. Gave up a single, committed a balk, but got Aaron Hill with a lead run at third base and 2 outs on a fly ball. He'll face Roland, Lind, and then the pitcher spot for the Blue Jays here in the 11th. And they do have Lyle Overbay, a left-handed batter, available.
Look at the bullpen numbers last night, though, Bob. Excellent. 5 1/3, 2 hits, no runs, couple of walks, couple of Ks. And for both teams tonight, including a very thin bullpen for Toronto, 142 pitches thrown by the Blue Jays, 92 for strikes. 137 pitches thrown by the Nationals pitchers, 89 for strikes. So pitching is not dead yet.
It's been on its last legs a few times in recent years.
I just don't think that the whole Quest Tech and zone evaluation process is working. Just turn the cameras off and let the umpires go back to just being human.
Yeah.
Let them run the game.
So enough YouTube for umpires, huh?
Well, you know,
just let them work.
Big brother looking over your back all the time. I just don't think it's had a great the type of effect they were looking for. I think they wanted a better strike zone. In fact, I think it's not as good as it used to be. Or as consistent, let's put it that way.
Rollins hit the ball hard 3 times tonight. Nick Johnson robbed him once. He's 2 for 4. That's a good pitch by Colomé. Almost some cutting action away from the right-handed batter. 96.
And as I said before, in the discussions I had all day today, it's not about how hard you throw. It's the movement and location. I liked it when I threw in the low 90s and had great movement. Made it a nightmare for hitters. When you throw hard and it's straight, BP. Look at that off the end of the bat.
Now, several times tonight you've referred to your discussions today. So, you know, fill us in. What exactly?
Well, like I said, I talked to Pat Corrales about pitching. I could talk to him all day because he's wonderful and he's caught Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. I had never heard that about Steve Carlton. I did not know that he took 120 pitches to warm up before every start.
That's amazing.
And throw every 4th day. That's just remarkable. And he's in the Hall of Fame. I don't understand why it worked 30 years ago for pitchers, and all of a sudden today a guy throws 100 pitches and we got to back him off. He might get hurt.
Oh, we're smarter than we used to be. How many warm-up pitches will a guy throw now?
I can tell you, I was burned out after about 50. That's why I became a reliever. But this is just an outstanding breaking ball by Colomé. Look at it catch the corner. Bang. Maybe 6-inch job. But that's still a nice pitch on an 0-2 pitch. See if you could get Roland to go fishing. Oh, nice.
Fastball up.
Nice. Changes the eye level. 97 up in your chin. You're no chance for that one. Well, Bob, this is just what the doctor ordered for Colomé. A few outings where he gets some really good confidence. He's got some of the best stuff maybe in that bullpen, and we've talked about that for a while. 97, chest high after 2 pinpoint strikes, a great breaking ball away. Can't set a guy up any better than that.
Adam Lind, the hitter. Colomé misses low. There's the left-handed bat we mentioned, Lyle Overbay. Because they made a double switch. Back in the 8th, pitcher spot is next. That's the number 6 spot in the lineup. Be nice to get Sean Camp out of here. He has pitched 3 scoreless innings for the Blue Jays out of the pen. 2 1/3 tonight. Scott Richmond.
And that's what was told to me before the game, that they would break out their starters in relief.
Yeah, he's not listed on the bullpen.
No, he's a starter for them.
Scott Richmond has made 11 starts in his 13 appearances. 5-3 with a 3.5 ERA. May take him a while to get warm, huh?
In more ways than one. He probably doesn't want to come into this game. You know, starters and relievers kind of have this little friction going on all the time. It's a love-hate relationship.
Yeah.
They love that you're out there and you may save their game, but Last thing starters want to do is go hang out the bullpen with you.
But I thought you and Tom Browning were such good buddies.
Oh, no. Don't get me wrong. But you can go in there and throw one pitch and get a loss.
Yeah, that's true.
So, you know, as far as the records go, starters don't want to mess their records up and earn run averages by going into the bullpen for an inning or two. You know, 3-4 runs on your starter's ERA is going to smart a little bit. You know, they have a routine just like relievers do, and when you think you have a day off and then all of a sudden your manager comes up and goes, oh, by the way, Scott, we're short, a little bit thin on the relievers' arms today. Do you mind going in the bullpen tonight?
3-2 and Colomé walks the lead run. And it'll be Lyle Overbay for camp here in the 11th.
Well, and I think Colomé may have injured himself on that last pitch. Bending over. Could be a groin. It looks like he's grabbing up by the groin. And we see the replay. It's the right leg. So you see him right there pull up after the pitch. Just take another front on look. Maybe even a hip flexor.
Jesus Colomé coming out. Julian Tavares now will get the call. The plot is thickening from the pitching standpoint here, to say the least. In our nation's capital. The Nats will stick around as long as they need to win a ball game. Julian Tavares got all the warm-up pitches he needed. He's ready to face Lyle Overbay here.
Well, on an injury, Bob, when you bring in another pitcher for an injured pitcher, Julian Tavares had as many pitches as he needed to warm up.
He can throw just about every day, so he may be one of those guys who doesn't need as many as others. Lyle Overbay started the ball game last night. He went 0 for 2 with 3 walks. Good pitch, outer half by Julian.
Well, at least Mr. Hoy back there is consistent with that backdoor breaking ball. Rung up Adam Dunn on the identical pitch by Camp.
Lyle Overbay's first pinch hitting appearance of the year. He was supposed to have a night off tonight. 274 mark, 8 homers, 36 RBIs. Didn't start against the Nats lefty Ross Detwiler, who we had hoped would have his first major league win by now. this very night. Pitch well enough to do that. Kevin Millar next. Unless there's a double play ball. The Nats have turned 2 tonight. Toronto has turned 3.
Well, let's see if he brings that sinker home.
Well, it was that location, but a breaking pitch. And the count's 2-2.
2-1. Fastball count for a hitter. And he gets the old Uncle Charlie.
Short lead at first by Lind. Couldn't pull the trigger. It was up and in. Enough of the corner. 2 outs. It'll be Tavares now and Millar.
Well, very nicely done by Julian Tavares. Worked him away, and then comes right in. 2-seam fastball. Drops it on the inner half. Absolutely froze Overbay.
Kevin Millar 1 for 4 with a base hit tonight. Zimmerman really guarding the line at third. Nick Johnson holds the runner other side. That's a nice breaking ball.
Yes, it is.
It's about the speed of a changeup, 84.
Well, he threw a 93 running fastball that was just off the charts. And then he comes back with an 84 breaking ball. Looks like he turned that over like a screwball. There's no telling what Julian Tavares has learned over 17 years in the big leagues.
They used to get all over him about the debris that accumulated on the bill of his cap. Got the cap thrown out of a game one night. I believe it was Lloyd McClendon of the Pirates who was on the other end of that appeal. That's inside edge, strike 2.
Well, you know, he's accumulated a lot of knowledge over the years. Why not a lot of goop? Well, I think this is a screwball right here.
Look at that.
It just makes my arm feel great watching Julian throw. Pretty good location.
This now will allow the runner to move. At first with 2 outs is Adam Lind. On deck, Raul Chavez, the catcher. Breaking ball, low and away. 2 on, 2 out. Now a base hit could put Toronto on top. Chavez 1 for 4. Opposite field base hit. And the play of the game by Willie Harris with Millar aboard leading off the 5th. The reason we're still here. So Lind walked. He's at second. Issued by Colomé. Millar walks. He's at first. Issued by Tavares, who faces Chavez. There's a fly ball to center. Willie Harris is there. Number 11 will lead off the bottom of the 11th. Ryan Zimmerman, Adam Dunn, and Elijah Dukes to follow in a 3-3 tie. Lately, and especially in interleague play, the American League East, bottom of the 11th. Zimmerman, Dunn, and Dukes. Adam Dunn got it. All right, Dunn last night. Right inside the bag against Jason Frazier. The Nats won it 2-1 in 11. Let's see if the boys can go to the hop again tonight.
Kind of happy I left the game when I did, because now you just take a beating when you're a hero. You know, it's guy gets a game-winning hit and everybody like beats the heck out of him. I don't understand that ritual, but yeah, I guess it's what the kids are doing these days, Bob.
These kids.
Hey, you won. Let me pound on the top of your head. It's not football.
Lyle Overbay stays into play first now. So on the double switch, Millar is out. Ryan Zimmerman's had a frustrating series. 0 for 4 tonight. Last night, 0 for 5. So he's 0 for 9 with a walk and 3 strikeouts.
Well, and Scott Richmond is now in the game, so
29-year-old starter from North Vancouver, British Columbia.
He's thrilled to death.
High slider.
An extra inning affair out of the bullpen.
That's a good pitch. Boy, I'm telling you, if I was sitting behind those guys,
they would be annoyed. They were just down there, Bob, and not to give them any more time than they really need or deserve. They have their little brooms out. They're sweeping off behind there. I mean, at least I have to say they are very original.
I would have had the spitball shooter out by about the 5th inning last night.
They would never be able to get away with that at, like, say, Fenway or Yankee Stadium. The people are too kind here in Washington.
Ryan Zimmerman continues to strike out looking on breaking balls. Jesus Colome left the game a few minutes ago. Debbie Taylor, what happened?
That's right. He has a right quad strain, and so he is currently day-to-day, Bob.
And then Julian Tavares came in to strike out Overbay, walk Millar, and then get Chavez on the fly ball. I would love to see Adam Dunn swing at anything that's close in this at bat. Of course, he doesn't need our advice, but Adam did strike out on a borderline pitch leading off the bottom of the 9th when we'd rather see him hack it. It was a 3-2 delivery, and he could have been the potential tying run at first. He gets under that one. It's going to stay in the park, and Joe Inglet catches it for the second out. Elijah Dukes had our 4th drive of the game back in the 6th inning. Rob had put the Nats up 3-1.
Well, it was a great comeback inning. CRISTIAN Guzman, Nick Johnson, and then Elijah Dukes tops off the 3-double inning. 2 runs in the bottom of the 6th to take a 2-run lead.
Elijah thrown out trying to go to 3rd. Ryan Zimmerman and Adam Dunn, pardon me, 0 for 10 tonight with 4 strikeouts, 3 of them looking. Been an odd night for the 3 and 4 guys. Dukes pulls off a breaking ball, hits it right off the end of his bat. Fair ball picked by Scott Rowland, and a good throw and a good stretch. We're going to the 12th inning. Scott Rowland's been doing this for years. 7 Gold Gloves worth. Inning number 12 coming up.
Go to the top of the 12th inning. And we have an email question, Bob. Ask about the Nats. Rob, have you enjoyed living in the D.C. area this season? Well, Polly Page, absolutely. I love this area. I love all the history here. And have great neighbors. Except, you know, Mr. Carpenter makes a lot of noise late at night, and that's kind of annoying. I have to bang on the ceiling.
Yeah, I munch that popcorn pretty loud. Well, thank you for saying that, because I was about to say you have great neighbors.
I do have great neighbors.
Joe England, top of the 12th.
And people that may not know this about me, though, Bob, I mean, I grew up in Connecticut.
Right. Yeah, you're an East Coast guy.
An East Coast guy. I do love the East Coast. And if I could unload my house in the LA area, I'd move back here. Times are
not a great market right now.
No, it's not a seller's market, but when it becomes one.
There's a good swing back fastball by Tavares.
In fact, I was in the area of the DC Zoo today, and my wife informs me that we need to get over there because the pandas are leaving.
Wow.
So.
Right center. Willie Harris is after it. That means it's going to be caught.
Yeah, we got Willie there. He's camping. Not a problem.
And we made an attempt at the aquarium today over in the Commerce building, but it was kind of a no parking Saturday in the district.
Oh,
there were a lot of people in town today.
Hopping and popping around D.C. today.
Yeah. We're going to do the Metro thing on Monday, the day off. Marco Scutaro. 0 for 3, a sacrifice, a walk. The Nats have done a good job of keeping this Scooter off base. He's only been on twice in 2 extra inning games. It's come to this.
Yeah, they're playing Marco Polo.
Marco Polo, I hear them chanting. Probably those umpires.
How many times in his life has he heard that game? Probably stays away from pools.
Marco Scutaro from San Felipe, Venezuela. Blue Jays got him in a trade with Oakland, a 3-player deal in November of 07. Hit 276 with 60 RBIs last year. He's been one of the better hitters in the American League, one of the better on-base guys in the first 2.5 months of this season.
Well, once again, came from that Oakland Athletics organization. He's very patient at the plate. They sit there and they take pitches all day, especially in their minor league system. And if it's taught to you, I just think that it's Nick Johnson came from the Yankees. They teach it in that organization.
Yeah.
Puts pressure on the pitcher when the guy stands there and he just keeps taking and taking and.
But it's been a while since the Oakland Athletics have been in the playoffs. I guess they really haven't been in there since Derek Jeter made that miracle play in the Coliseum. And they're 8 games out of first place. So, I mean, all this Moneyball stuff, you got to ask, is it working? Evidently not.
Well, on-base percentage is key, but you still need some talent. You need some pitchers and some bullpen. And, you know, they haven't had a lot of Dave Stewarts running through there. And Bob Welch's and Mike Moore's and Hall of Famer Dennis Eckersley. You've got Rick Honeycutt's the pitching coach of the Dodgers, and their pitching staff is amazing. What he's been doing over there with the Dodgers pitchers.
Two and two. Got him.
Very nice.
It just looks like when Tavares makes that turn away from the hitter, if there's a runner at second base, he's scrambling backwards, and then the hitter gets all discombobulated, even if there is no runner.
That's Louis. That's,
look at that.
I was going to say that's Julian Tavares' best Louis Tiant imitation as he turns, gives the back to the hitter, and then he throws a big spinner when Scutaro is frozen. He even pulled the bat back. Get nervous.
Here's Hill. Aaron Hill is 1 for 4 with an RBI single and a walk.
The Oakland Athletics, Bob, are in basically the same situation the Nationals are in. They have a lot of youth in their rotation.
What purpose did it serve for them to get Matt Holliday?
They will trade Matt Holliday again before the trade deadline, unless they send, unless they were to sign him to an extension, which I don't think they're going to shell out that kind of money. They trade him again, just like they did with Danny Herron. Guys like that, you know, you bring him in, you get some use out of him. They serve a successful piece to your puzzle, and then you trade for more talent. Houston Street, who was part of that Matt Holliday deal, has been outstanding closing for the Rockies during there. I think they won 14 out of 15 games.
Colorado's in a 2-2 game in the 6th. They won 3 in a row again after that 11-game winning streak. 2 balls and a strike to Hill. Tavares has some kind of breaking ball tonight.
And I think the tough position that he's putting Manny Acta and Steve McCatty in is, do you run him out there for another inning? Because then you probably lose him for tomorrow and maybe the next day.
Yeah. The Nats have Vallone and Beimel left down there. They both pitched last night, although Vallone only a third of an inning and Beimel a full inning. The 2 lefties. Top of the 12th inning. The Nats are in extra innings for the 10th time this year. Nice. That ball made its way from the field all the way upstairs.
Future third baseman for the Nationals.
See, Mom, I told you if you let me stay. And here's a 2-2. Right to Ryan Zimmerman. That's why you guard the line in the late innings. Roland in the 11th. Zim here in the 12th. Gonzalez, Harris, and Bard coming up. Starter Scott Richmond still in the ball game. The Nats have 6, 7, and 8. Gonzalez, Harris, and Bard here in the bottom of the 12th inning. Alberto Gonzalez is 2 for 4 tonight. Singles his last 2 times. So his batting average started the night at .315. He's at .325, and he just keeps producing every time Manny Acta calls on him. That's going to drop in left center.
Sweet.
3 for 5, Alberto Gonzalez. Let's see if Willie Harris can do something on top of the amazing defense he gave us earlier.
What a great catch by Willie Harris. Saved a couple of runs, then he doubles. Steals third. And then a sac fly by the number 8-hole hitter in our lineup, Will Nieves. The pitcher on deck. And that was the early 1-0 lead the Nationals had. For about 5 minutes, still Vernon Wells hit a home run.
Yeah.
Then the Nats came roaring right back.
Blue Jays expecting a bunt. Roland only 70 feet away right now. Third base side. Which presents a challenge. If Willie hits it down the first base line, you have a left-handed throwing first baseman in Lyle Overbay who can whip that thing to the shortstop. So this will not be an easy bunt if Willie has that in mind. Pulls the bat back. Can't bunt a pitch that up and away, and it's ball one. And then, of course, Bard, the switch hitter, follows. Then you have the pitcher's spot, and the only available player the Nats have left is Ronnie Belliard. Runner going down the line, but it's hooking foul. And Willie Harris flirting with a long ball for the second time tonight.
Willie Harris, did you?
And it looked good for a while, then had that big hook on it.
Well, with Overbay holding Gonzalez on right here, you don't want him to get a big lead. There's a huge hole between first and second, and a great swing right here with the Toronto defense and Richardson thinking bunt. He laid a fastball down Broadway.
Now he shows bunt early. A throw to the first baseman who was not even on the bag. That's ball two. Two and one, good running count. Really not showing bunt early this time. And the count's even 2-2. Now with more of a possibility of the runner going, the second base umpire, Mike Everett, have shifted from the shortstop to the second base side of the bag. There's the umpire. He was right over between the pitcher and the shortstop before. Kind of interesting to watch how they change positions and get ready for certain plays. 2-2.
Well, if you send the runner right here, try to hit the ball on the ground to the right side. You still move the runner up.
Yep.
Maybe get it through that hole.
He's holding. That's a breaking ball inside, and Gonzalez back. 3-2 now. And when you're working with a short bullpen like both of these managers are, it's hard to believe they would not start the runner here.
Well, and that's a dangerous throw, having to come behind the left-handed batter right there. But he makes an amazing throw to Overbay, and once again, Exmo catches Overbay, throwing the glove right down on the bag like Millar. Okay, yep. Chavez, we know you got a great arm.
3-2. Willie Harris, right field. How far is it going? This game is over. And the Nationals walk off and go to the hop again. Willie Harris, his second home run of the year, the 22nd of his major league career, and he did everything in his power to help the Nationals win this game tonight. And I emphasize power.
Bob, I told you earlier with the conversation I had with Willie, he was upset he didn't hit more yesterday, especially later in the ball game. And I told him, your glove's going to come through for us. The hits will come. Well, tonight was Willie's night.
3-9-0 Toronto, 5-11-0 Nats, and there is no doubt who's the star of this game.
Well, Willie Harris had that double to lead off an inning, stole third base, was driven in with a sac fly, and then he just wins the game with one swing of the bat. There's that swagger.
Julian Tavares gets the win. Richmond the loser. And Rob, your point well taken. Starters don't like doing things like this.
No, Scott Richardson will not be happy after this ball game. Came in relief, gets the loss, gives up 2 earned runs in less than 2 innings of work.
All right, Debbie Taylor down in front of the dugout with Willie Harris, who is awfully big tonight.
Okay, thank you very much, Bob. And Willie, you did it all tonight, but just talk about the home run. Take us through that at bat.
Well, it was one of those at bats where I just had a battle. Initially, we had the bunt sign on. Then we switched that and went to the hit and run. So it was just a tough at bat for me. And I'm just glad I was able to just get a ball up in the air and be able to hit it out of here.
And the reaction of your teammates. I didn't know if you were ever going to get out from under that pile.
I tell you what, we're having some fun here the last couple of days. Been winning some games, and everybody's starting to do their part. Everything's coming together. Hopefully we can continue to do what we're doing, and tomorrow see if we can't do it again.
Willie, earlier in the at-bat, you crested it and went foul. What were you thinking there?
I was just trying to hit a ball in the gap. That was the pitch where the hit and run was on. And it was a 1-0 count. I definitely wasn't trying to hit the ball the other way. I'm trying to hit some in the gap, maybe get first and third, and give the guy behind me a shot to win it.
Earlier in the game, you manufactured a run, and then also the catch to Rob Chavez. I mean, you've been so unbelievable, as we all know, with your glove.
I just go out and try to play the game right. I always play hard. And if you're doing those things, the game will always give back to you. And tonight, it gave to me a little bit, and I'm thankful.
Before I let you go inside, I got to ask you about these fans that stayed around to watch the end of this game.
Thank you, fans, for staying around and sticking for us and pulling for us. It really helped us.
Okay, thanks so much, Willie Harris. Let's go back up to Bob.
How about Debbie and Willie playing to the crowd? Yeah, they stuck around, and they were rewarded. Long night. Nats win it 5-3 in 12. What are we going, 13 tomorrow? Join us on MASN 2 and DC 50. The Nats and the Jays Game 3. Visit MASNsports.com for all the latest news on the Nationals. This has been a presentation to MASN. Stay tuned. Nats Extra posting a game coming up right now. Phil and Johnny. And from the booth, so long for just a while.